There's a chill wind blowing off Lake Erie today. It's in the 30s with a chance of snow. Football weather for the rabid fans of the Cleveland Browns. They packed the stadium and filled the pound because there's no team the Cleveland fans love to hate more than the Denver Broncos, which 3 times have ended Browns' Super Bowl hopes. The Cleveland faithful have had an off week to savor a dramatic victory over arch rival Pittsburgh on Eric Metcalf's second punt return for a touchdown.
He has this one at the 25. Metcalf to the outside with room. Metcalf at midfield. Metcalf cuts back. He's still on his feet. Metcalf will go for the score. Unbelievable.
And just moments ago, the Browns punt return team introduced to the crowd here, saving the best till last, Eric Metcalf. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cleveland Stadium. Tom Allen and Chris Collinsworth. I don't see any dog bites on you. You survived the dog pound. That game, the Cleveland win over Pittsburgh, was one of the most dramatic of the season, but it changed for the Browns. Bernie Kosar has regained his quarterback spot with the injury to Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah, and I really think that Bernie Kosar may be under more pressure now than he has been at any time during the course of his career. But what a great opportunity this football game is for Bernie Kosar. Not only can he make up for the 3 losses in the AFC Championship games to the Denver Broncos and John Elway, but also a chance maybe to regain the confidence of his head coach, Bill Belichick.
And, of course, John Elway, the man that owns the Cleveland Browns. Browns kicking off with a short kick. Taken by Derek Russell of the Broncos. Russell cuts up, still picking his way forward, and gets to the outside and briefly breaks free. Finally knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. 20-yard return by Derek Russell. Stacey Hairston saved a further gain. Good return for the Broncos to open the game. Let's take a look at John Elway's starting Bronco offensive unit now. Elway 4-1 at Cleveland Stadium. Gary Zimmerman, the acquisition from the Vikings, keying that offensive line at the left tackle spot. Elway's having a great year. 4th-rated quarterback in the AFC. Bernstine, the leading rusher. There you see the 4 wides with Sharp moving to a wide receiver. Milburn and Marshall coming in. Pitch to Rod Bernstine. Bernstine cracks to the outside. Knocked out of bounds after a gain of 2 or 3 yards. Clay Matthews, Anthony Pleasant on the stop for the Browns, who line up this way on defense with Burnett Jones, Michael Dean Perry. Of course, Jerry Ball will get in the game shortly. Pepper Johnson, the acquisition from the Giants, starting at the linebacker spot. David Brandon has been released. There's your secondary. And when the passing situation faces the Browns defense, their dime will have Hilliard and Spear as extra defensive backs.
Tom, it's interesting that Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, was telling me yesterday that the strength of this Cleveland Browns defense goes right down the line. You talk about the defensive line is their strength with James Jones and Michael Dean Perry and Jerry Ball and Rob Burnett. The linebackers are the next best group, and that defensive secondary is the weakness. They feel like that they'll have a good chance to take advantage of that today. That's
Mustafa, who's limping off the field. He's been replaced by Randy Hilliard at the right cornerback spot. Elway's first pass. Bernstine across the middle. A gain of 3 or 4 yards. Pepper Johnson wraps him up, and Elway will face 3rd down.
Tom, very significant that Najee Mustafa went off the field because of the fact that this past week, Everson Walls, the longtime cornerback in the National Football League, was waived by the Cleveland Browns. It was something that caused a great deal of controversy amongst the defensive teammates, and now they lose Mustafa on the first play.
3rd and 2 for the Broncos. Bernstine and Del Pino, the split backs. Del Pino in motion. Under pressure, Elway completes a pass to Johnson. Vance Johnson knocked out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. There's a penalty marker down. 14 yards if it stands. Terry Taylor bumped him out of bounds. First penalty coming up. Jerry Mark Bright is the referee. Holding against the Browns. So the 14-yard gain will stand.
Holding, number 53, defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Pepper Johnson on the hold.
John Elway not having much trouble at all here in the early going, throwing the football. Really not a tremendous pattern by Vance Johnson. Randy Hilliard just not able to stay with him.
Glenn Milburn in the game now behind Elway. First down play from the Cleveland 42. Milburn, his first carry in 2 games inside the Cleveland 40 down to the 38-yard line.
Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator, said they really wanted to try and work Glenn Milburn into the game a little more because of the fact that he draws so much double coverage on the passing downs. And the significance of that being that you can no longer use an extra player on the defense to spy John Elway. John Elway's made so many big plays running with the football. Glenn Milburn takes that away from a defense.
Milburn, the rookie second-round draft choice from Stanford. He's out of the game. Bernstine returns. Rod Bernstine tries to get the corner. Has a block there and cuts up inside the 35 to the 32 of the Browns. Stopped there by Mike Johnson.
Rod Bernstine has really seen his production increase the last few weeks. Before the bye, Bernstine had 103 yards rushing against the Raiders. Then last week had 111 yards of total offense against Seattle, 64 rushing, 47 receiving, catching a season-high 6 passes. Formerly a tight end, of course, moved to running back, and Michael Dean Perry says he's not running like a tight end anymore. He's a bear out there.
In fact, the Bronco coach is pleased the last few weeks that he started lowering the pads and running the way he did when he played for the Chargers. 3rd and 1. Bernstine still going, lowers his head and pounds inside the 25-yard line, carrying Stevan Moore along with him. That's the power of Rod Bernstine, 6'3", nearly 240 pounds.
And the significance of this is that they have backed Rod Bernstine up in the backfield. He was very uncomfortable early in the season. They were playing out of split backs. Wade Phillips, the head coach of the Broncos, said that, hey, we just weren't taking advantage of his skills. Now they've backed him up in the eye, and he has really begun to dominate.
Bernstine and Delpino in the eye. Delpino the up back, Bernstine the tailback. First down from the 24. This is the opening drive of the game. Play action pass from Elway. And the pass complete to Reggie Johnson, the tight end, who found a spot at about the 12-yard line. Mustafa back in the game, stopped him. It'll be first down Broncos, though, and this is an impressive opening drive.
And the key on this play was the protection. Michael Dean Perry is being double-teamed by Dave Rydell and John Melander, just the same way they did Cortez Kennedy against Seattle last week. Little hug for Elway at the end of that one.
Pleasant just wanted to let him know he was there. From the 13, first down Broncos. Delpino and Lynn. And straight ahead to Reggie Rivers. Gets the carry. And Anthony Pleasant stops him after a short gain. Reggie Rivers, in his 3rd year from Southwest Texas, actually was the 2nd leading rusher for the Broncos in 1992. Has only carried less than 10 times this season.
Really surprising the fact that he hasn't been a bigger part of the offense, but Robert Delpino and Glenn Milburn now in this offense has really taken over his role. They're working into the dog pound.
It's the 9th play of the opening drive of the contest. Bernstine and Delpino are split. Elway chased from the pocket. Dives down at the 7-yard line. Covered there by Rob Burnett and Mike Johnson.
That's a habit that Jim Fossil has been desperately trying to break John Elway of. When he breaks free and when he scrambles, he wants him to keep his eyes down the field, keep his body in a position to throw the football, and then slide. Slide feet first. He hates the way that he goes in head first. Said that's how he got hurt a season ago.
3rd and 3. From the gun, Elway has Bernstine to his left. Elway threads the needle to Shannon Sharp. Stevan Moore keeps him out of the end zone, but it will be a Bronco first down.
Shannon Sharp, of course, the brother of Sterling Sharp. He's got a $20,000 bet with his brother who has the most catches on the season. That makes 38 now for Shannon. Unfortunately, his big brother has 50 and looks pretty secure.
I like the story he told us about 2 weeks ago when his brother had the 4 touchdown passes. Shannon wasn't home, but he got 4 messages on his answering machine.
What a drive.
Elway has not missed a pass. He's 4 for 4. First and goal from the Browns 2. Fumble. The whistle blew it dead, I believe. Eric Turner recovered the fumble. Let's see if it'll be Browns football. Penalty markers are down. I thought I heard the whistle before the play ever got started.
I think there was procedure before the snap, which automatically kills the ball.
We have a false start on the center. Illegal snap, quick snap, no play prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And there's a case where the penalty benefits the offending team.
Dave Wydell, obviously some kind of a double pump before the snap. A tremendous break for John Elway and the Broncos. No question the Cleveland Browns had recovered that football. Once again, a charmed life for John Elway and company.
There it is. Now from the 7, first and goal. Elway being chased for the end zone, wide open, but out of the end zone, incomplete for Russell. Clay Matthews was coming after Elway, had to get rid of it. Russell was wide open.
And that's Najee Mustafa, who's back in the game. He slipped on the turf, and Elway just gave one away. His man was wide open, and he didn't get him the football, and John knew it. He just gave up his 13th touchdown.
First quarter, 7:39. The Broncos with a long drive to open the game. From the gun, Bernstine and Delpino. Handoff. Delpino only to the 5, and he might have fumbled. The Browns have it. Rob Burnett has recovered the Delpino fumble.
Robert Delpino had 2 touchdowns a week ago. He is getting a much bigger role in the offense. You could see the ball came loose, and it looked like he was lying on top of Jerry Ball, and that's what kept him from hitting the ground before he made the fumble.
Big break for the Cleveland Browns. They'll have the ball for the first time when we return.
Don't you wish you could be this comfortable with all your decisions? Acura. Some things are worth the price.
Save right now. Buy 3 Goodyear tires at the regular price, get the 4th tire free. That's right. Buy any 3 of these Goodyear tires at the regular price and get the 4th free. 4 for 3 now. Hurry, sale ends soon.
For the first time, there's a saw that combines a 12-amp motor, dust collection, and an auto brake. So there's no limit to what you can build. Introducing the Quantum Circular Saw, new from Black & Decker.
There are so many people trying to figure so many ways to rip you off now that it's very hard by yourself to counter all these things.
Citibank called one night at 7 o'clock. Apparently, someone had bought 9 tickets to Vegas, gambled, and invited 9 of their best friends.
That's why, having somebody watch your back is good.
Citibank realized that I'd not made those charges, and it got taken care of.
It just makes you feel like you have an ally out there.
Just a few of the many people who rely on the security of not just Visa, Citibank Visa.
Jerry Ball is right in the middle of your screen working on number 75, and Del Pino just falls on top of him. Ordinarily, his knee would have hit the ground and would have been down, but when he fell on top of Ball, there was time for the Cleveland defense to strip it away, and Rob Burnett ended up landing on it.
So a long Bronco drive comes for naught, and the Browns have the ball at their own 9-yard line. That's Ron Wolfley in motion. Kosar handing off to Tommy Vardell, and Vardell rips up the middle to the 20-yard line. Gain of 11 for Vardell on his first carry. Tackled by Simon Fletcher. And here is a look at Bernie Kosar and his offense. Kosar, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His offensive line keyed by Steve Everett, the rookie center, who's having an outstanding initial campaign. Kosar has Metcalf with him. He's the second leading rusher, top receiver. Vardell, the leading ground gainer. Michael Jackson, the big play receiver. And the 3 wide brings in Lawyer Tillman for an extra wide receiver. They're trying to make him into the possession receiver this week. Play action pass. Kosar in trouble. And he's sacked back at the 15-yard line. Loss of 5. Tommy Vardell was kept in to block, and the man just ran right over Vardell. Greg Cragen gets credit for the sack.
And Tom, this is the biggest question mark that I have about this Browns offense. Can they protect Bernie Kosar in the pocket? They had success in protecting Vinny Testaverde when he got outside the pocket and they can move it around a little bit. Can they protect Bernie in the pocket, because he's not going to be moving outside?
2nd and 15, 3 wides in for the Browns. Lawyer Tillman in with Carrier and Jackson. Leroy Hoard ridden back by the Bronco defense. Simon Fletcher and Mike Kroll combining to stop Hoard. Here's the way the Broncos line up defensively. Cragen already has the first sack of the game. Mecklenburg and Fletcher, the big sack leaders, the big play men on the Bronco front. That secondary features 2 of the finest safeties in the game, Smith and Atwater. And when the Broncos go to their Tiger defense, Lilo Lang comes in, and it's his job today to try to stop Eric Metcalf.
Broncos best in the league on 3rd down.
3rd and 15 for Kosar. He sends Carrier in motion. Kosar steps and delivers that sidearm toss way out of bounds and incomplete, and the Browns will have to punt. And before they do, let's go to New York. Jim Lampley at NFL Live for an update. Jim?
Tom, let's look at the first touchdown of the day in the Astrodome. Opening drive for the Oilers. Warren Moon on fire. Hits AFC leading receiver Webster Slaughter from 3 yards out. Oilers lead 7-0. Could make Rick Meyer's job even tougher. Back to Tom and Chris.
All right, Jim, and here at Cleveland Stadium, no score, each team with 1 possession. Broncos with a long drive, then a fumble inside the Cleveland 10. And the Browns stopped on their first possession, so Brian Hansen will punt. You see his numbers, 2nd in the AFC. And Glenn Milford, who averages nearly 11 a return, says stay away from it. He'll let it bounce. Short punt, but gets a pretty decent roll. In fact, it'll be about the 45-yard line of the Broncos. 40-yard punt in a scoreless first quarter.
After all these years, Watson, the trail is decidedly cold.
But Holmes, it's quite warm in here.
All these years.
Curiously cozy.
No, fiendishly clever. Observe, Watson. Warm house, many years. It must be...
Lennox.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
For home heating, for cooking, for hot water, use clean natural gas. America's best energy value.
Paying for quality can be a difficult decision at first. But over time, it gets a lot easier to live with. Acura. Some things are worth the price.
Wouldn't it be great? Yeah! If you invented a special potion that turned anybody into Rachel Hunter, the supermodel.
Ralph, would you take me for a walk?
Cool.
Ralph, we gotta work all weekend.
All weekend.
And your special potion turned ordinary beer in a can into Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry, specially lined for really smooth
Bottle beer taste. Wow. Mind if I join your party?
Sure, Bert. Come on over. Wouldn't that be great?
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Acura. Some things are worth the price. By Keystone, Keystone Light and Keystone Dry. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By New Sierra. It's not just antifreeze, it's safety freeze. And by Schick Tracer. It traces every curve on your face.
Venerable Cleveland Stadium, the scene of so many great football games over the years, built during the Depression in the 30s on the shores of Lake Erie, and one of the focal points of downtown Cleveland, a downtown that is rapidly being renovated. Wade Phillips brings his Bronco team in with a 4-3 record and back in the hunt in the AFC West after beating Seattle last week, while both the Raiders and the Chiefs were losing.
And Phillips knows where his bread is buttered. John Elway is his man. He's retooled this offense around him. He says when we won, our offense dominates.
From the 46, first down for the Broncos. Rod Bernstine, the lone setback. Elway's got a screen to Bernstine. Blockers in front, and Bernstine lowers his head, and a flag comes in late after a 13-yard gain. Mustafa and Caldwell banging Bernstine down, but a very late flag. See some scores of other games. There's that Slaughter touchdown we heard about.
Holding number 79, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Dave Wydell with his second penalty of the game.
Moving over into the center position for Keith Karch, who's out with the broken hand. Watch the center. He's going to jump out in front, right in here, and in front of the screen pass. I thought he made a brilliant block from our angle, but apparently once he got at the legs of the defensive back, you can see the takedown. Nice call by the officials. Randy Hilliard was simply taken down by Dave Wydell.
It's 1st and 20 now, back at the 39. Bernstine. Blockers in front to midfield. Eric Turner got him by the ankles, but really blocking well for Rod Bernstine on the corners today.
It was interesting. I talked with Dennis Smith yesterday, the safety man for the Denver Broncos, and I asked him, I said, is there anybody that you tackle in the National Football League that ever made you flinch? He said, yeah, Rod Bernstine, and I'm sure glad that big lug is on my team.
Bernstine averaging over 7 yards a carry here in the first quarter. Joined by Del Pino now in the I formation. Pitch to Bernstine. Del Pino can't get the block that time, and he's stopped for a loss of 1 by Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson made the play, but Najee Mustafa, number 48, really set it up. Watch him on the corner. He's going to come up and take on the lead blocker, Robert Del Pino, and completely stack up the play. Great play by Najee Mustafa. That's what you have to do as a rolled-up cornerback. Come out there, take on the lead blocker, and just stack it up. Mike Johnson then cleaned it up. Great play by Mustafa.
4 wides in the game, 3 of them set to the right, Milburn to the left. Milburn in the slot left. Pass caught by Milburn, just short of the first down. He's at about the 45-yard line where he's covered by Eric Turner. Milburn lining up slot left, just short of the first down.
And a mistake by the young rookie, Glenn Milburn, as the Browns defense gets a nice ovation, but Milburn, in that situation, you've got to go up to first down yardage. And here comes the man.
17.4 leads the NFL, but what about the big play potential? 91 and 75 yards against the Steelers in his last game, including that game winner with just a couple of minutes left. And a timeout.
Tom, the unbelievable thing about that game last week was that after the first punt return, Eric Metcalf went up to Michael Jackson, the wide receiver, and said, I feel another one. I think I'm going to have 2 punt returns for touchdowns in this game. He told us yesterday that the first one was routine, the 91-yarder. That was just routine. He said the second one, though, was like an out-of-body experience.
It was for me, too.
I agree.
Well, the Steelers, you got me thinking Steelers again. The Browns have called a timeout. They had 12 men on their punt return team. That could be why they've been so successful. They had to call a timeout.
Want to welcome you back from the Breeders' Cup as you pulled the all-nighter last night, the red eye coming in, and a great day of horse racing yesterday.
If I'd have had the sense to bet on Arkong, I could have bought my own plane to come back.
That's what I told him. I said, if Tom bet on Arkong at whatever it was, 120 to 1, he's not coming to the game.
Numbers all straight. Cleveland had to burn a timeout, and Metcalf resumes his position. You see the Broncos have had great coverage. Bruin with a high kick. Metcalf calls for the fair catch and takes it at the 15. Beautiful high kick. It only covered 30 yards, but it took away the big play potential of Eric Metcalf.
My daughter, Gabi, is the 5th generation of flying Cavalinis, and I teach her real strength comes from the heart. Someday she'll teach this to her children, and in their hearts, they too will fly.
At John Newveen and Company, we believe our strongest bond is human. Ask your investment advisor.
I was tired, listless. My hair looked bad. My dog moved away. My life was as bland as your average chicken sandwich. Then I tried McDonald's new McGrilled chicken. Now this was different.
A marinated chicken breast with Monterey Jack, sweet red onions, tangy herb dressing on a bakery roll. Well, things changed. My hair looks great. My dog came home, and we struck oil in the backyard.
Coincidence? We don't think so. Try the new McGrilled chicken sandwich. Further proof that what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Don't you wish you could be this comfortable with all your decisions? Acura. Some things are worth the price.
Cleveland Stadium now exclusively a football stadium, with the Indians moving to their new home next season. We're scoreless, 2:35 left in the first. And let's take a look at the natural gas quarterback efficiency ratings. Amongst AFC quarterbacks, Joe Montana continues to lead. So does Dan Marino, the two injured quarterbacks. Then Esiason and John Elway in 4th place. Bernie Kosar returning to the fray in 10th place with a 70.8 efficiency rating. From the 16, Browns have a first down. Bardell totes it for a gain of a couple. Shane Burnett with a stop for the Broncos.
This Browns offense has really struggled offensively against Denver. They played them in each of the last 2 years, and really it could have been back-to-back shutouts for the Denver Broncos defense, but for a late score, a late touchdown 2 years ago. So the Browns, Bill Belichick and Bernie Kosar are still looking for answers against this Broncos defense.
Browns in first place in the AFC Central, but their statistics are so bad you'd never believe it. They do have that big play potential, though. Kosar's pass to Carrier. Dodges one man and takes it to the 30. 11-yard gain and a Cleveland first down. Tyrone Braxton tackled Carrier, and it's welcome back to Mark Carrier, who went out of the Steeler game on the 3rd play with an injury.
Does this look like a Brian Brennan route right here? This is what the Cleveland Browns worked on. They stayed after practice almost every day this week and worked on some of the short ball control type passing game that Bernie Kosar can execute so well. And they are trying to go back to his philosophy of offense and what Bernie Kosar does best. That looked like the Browns of 3 or 4 years ago.
Give them a first down at their own 30. A minute 15 left first quarter. We're scoreless. Bardell hit in the backfield and spun down at the 25 by Mike Kroll. 5-yard loss as Kroll got great penetration and stopped Bardell.
Mike Kroll was the Rookie of the Year in 1991 with 10 sacks. He got his first sack last week against Seattle. I think it is fair to say that Mike Kroll has been having a disappointing season so far this year. Has also been having some trouble in his zone drops and trying to defend the pass. But the last couple of weeks, you've begun to see Mike Kroll play back to the level that he did his rookie year.
2nd and 15. The Browns with their 3-wide formation against Charlie Waters and his nickel defense. Kosar's pass dropped by Lawyer Tillman. He's not going to be the possession receiver with hands like that.
They went back this week and showed game film of Brian Brennan running exactly that route to try and teach Lawyer Tillman to become the possession receiver. But if you're going to be a possession receiver, you have to possess the ball, and Lawyer Tillman cannot drop that pass there. It could not have been thrown any better by Bernie Kosar.
23 seconds left, first quarter. 3rd and 15. Draw play to Metcalf. Dancing, dodging, working his way across the 35 to the 37. Short of the first down, tripped up by Dimry and Lang for a gain of 12, but not enough.
Tom, remarkably, Charlie Waters, the defensive coordinator, as you look at Bill Belichick of the Denver Broncos, said that the 2 running plays he feared most both involved Eric Metcalf, the draw that you just saw and the counter OT.
And we'll end the first quarter at Cleveland Stadium, 0-0.
Difficult decision at first. But over time, it gets a lot easier to live with. Acura. Some things are worth the price.
Since your face can't adjust to your razor, the Schick Tracer adjusts to your face. Tracer's the only razor with blades that bend and flex for a clean, close, comfortable shave. Schick. We're changing the face of shaving.
Watch how fast Dristan nasal spray works.
What do you smell?
I smelled something. I don't know what it was.
Use Dristan nasal spray. Now smell.
That's an orange. Dristan nasal spray worked fast. Dristan nasal spray. Fast, effective relief.
People care about the world these days. They just don't want me to put another toxic antifreeze in their car. I mean, who needs toxic? So what if it protects to 70 below? Any antifreeze can do that. Tell me that it's different, safer. Tell me nothing protects better, and it's biodegradable. I mean, what if their dog gets into it? Or their kids? This is serious. It's a changing world. Poison's out.
New Sierra. It's not just antifreeze, it's safety freeze.
NBC presents Patty Duke in a fiery first-rate performance as Chicago Sun-Times. A suspenseful, sensational motion picture raves TV guide. A matter of justice, NBC tonight.
And above all the action today, floating one of America's most enduring images, the Goodyear blimp. Goodyear providing our aerial views for today's game. And there is an aerial view of Cleveland Stadium. Chilly afternoon and a 4th down facing the Cleveland Browns in punt formation. As we begin a scoreless game in the second quarter. Second quarter opening with the punt. And Glenn Milburn awaiting the punt and taking it at the 25. To the 31 and then thrown back by the Cleveland special teams led by Randy Baldwin. 38-yard punt. The return by Milburn covered 6 yards. Broncos ball when we come back to the stadium.
Hi, Super Dave Osborne here, getting ready to roll across the country, singing the praises of these great-looking Hager wrinkle-free cotton pants. You know the ones, 100% cotton, wrinkle-free, out of the dryer, no ironing. I'll be covering more than 25,000 miles wearing these beauties, so come out and see me. I just wonder if Hager knows they're paying me by the mile. Uh-oh. Oh.
Hager wrinkle-free cottons, 100% cotton, 0% wrinkles.
They're still not wrinkled.
The Gulf of Mexico.
where world-class fishermen like Jim come to battle the big boys.
Jim, you got one.
Yeah, hey, this calls for a celebration. How about a cold O'Doul?
Thanks.
Only 70 calories and non-alcohol. Because out here, you never know what's biting.
When you want the refreshing taste of beer without all the alcohol, think O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer.
As your engine revs higher, the oil forms a hydrodynamic wedge, protecting your engine parts. But as your oil's viscosity breaks down, so can the wedge. That's why Castrol GTX has unique viscosity improvers. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol, because if your viscosity breaks down, what's next? Castrol GTX. Now, get a free officially licensed NFL team football when you buy a case of Castrol GTX.
Coming up next, the L.A. Raiders, led by quarterback Jeff Hostetler and their tenacious D, blow into the Windy City to take on the Chicago Bears. Next on NBC.
Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth at Cleveland Stadium. We're scoreless with 14:49 left in the second quarter. First down, Denver. The ball spotted at their 31-yard line. Elway's having a big start. John Elway for a loss of 11.
Well, the Denver Broncos have devised a scheme for John Elway, shorter, quicker passes that is supposed to give him better protection, and he has had exactly that this year. He's been sacked now 18 times. That's 9 fewer than what he was all of last season, but great rush that time by Anthony Pleasant.
He just shed the block of Gary Zimmerman to get to Elway. 2nd and 21. Bernstine, nowhere to go. Michael Dean Perry, there's a flag down. It'll be against Denver, illegal motion.
Well, after the great start by the Denver Broncos on that initial drive, they've really been shooting themselves in the foot.
Illegal motion, number 84, offense. Penalty is declined, 3rd down.
Shannon Sharp with the illegal motion. Waved off by the Browns.
He is the move guy right here. Will constantly be in motion during the course of the game, just never got reset.
You see him sort of say, I don't know what the deal is. 3rd and 17. From the gun, Elway has 4 wides. Steps up and goes deep. Johnson has it. To the 20-yard line. 56 yards. Elway to Johnson, who had beaten Terry Taylor.
Everson Walls is gone. Vance Johnson working against what looks like a double team. Eric Turner just didn't get enough depth. Eric Turner had double coverage on the play. Really wasn't so much the fault of Terry Taylor. Eric Turner just didn't get deep enough on the football field. And John Elway and Vance Johnson burns them in a big way.
56 yards for Vance Johnson. Elway's hit 7 of his first 8 passes. Here is Milburn bouncing to the outside and run out of bounds at about the 10-yard line by Terry Taylor. Right now, let's go to NFL Live in New York. Jim Lampley with an update. Jim?
All right, Tom, let's look at the Chargers trying to recreate last season's midseason hot streak. Marion butts heads into the end zone. No Beavis in sight. San Diego leading Minnesota 7-0 in the second quarter. From us knuckleheads, back to you knuckleheads.
All right. We've given up the Beavis and Butthead shtick for this week, I think.
The dog pound didn't, though. Yeah, right. They had a few comments for me down there.
0-0, but the Broncos threatening from the 10 of the Browns. Bernstine hurdling tacklers. Has 3 or 4 yards. Mustafa tripped him up. Check the other scores. Murray with a field goal.
Tom, they're on the end of the field now where the baseball infield used to be. And I like what the Broncos are doing. They're running outside the torn-up area. The area between the hash marks is really torn up. Very difficult to get your footing. 2 straight sweeps to the outside. Good play call.
That sod has been down about a month now, but it'll be permanent. No more baseball here. Elway pumps once. Flushed out of the pocket. Hit as he releases the ball, incomplete. Jerry Ball gave Elway a shot, and the pass incomplete.
I bet you John Elway couldn't believe that Jerry Ball ran him down from behind, right on the nose tackle, number 93. Jerry Ball getting the double team on this play, and now it's a foot race. John Elway and Jerry Ball, are you kidding me? Jerry Ball by a nose.
You watched the Breeders' Cup too long yesterday. You're supposed to be working.
Is that man just too sweet or what? By the way, he heard your comment about the view from the dog pound.
No, don't tell me that.
He blamed it on me, though.
Elway again in trouble. Lets it go. Broken up for a flag. Stevan Moore will be called for interference. Shannon Sharp was the intended receiver, and Moore got there too soon.
Tom, the first situation in this ball game where Stevan Moore, who has now had to move up to cover the slot.
Pass interference. Number 27, defense in the end zone. First down on the 1-yard line.
Stevan Moore is a strong safety trying to cover one of the top wide receivers in the league, and Shannon Sharp. That is the position ordinarily that Everson Walls would have Shannon Sharp. It's the first time that that decision has come back to haunt the Browns.
First and goal at the 1. Bernstine and Del Pino behind Elway. Bernstine thrown back for the defense. Anthony Pleasant was right in his face, and he got a lot of help from his teammates, Bill Johnson and others.
Bill Johnson, number 94, had been sitting over there on the bench and just got all fired up. Just going to stick Rod Bernstine right in the gut. What a tremendous play by Bill Johnson. A lot of people thought he would have been a #1 draft choice had he not hurt his knee.
Loss of a yard, second and goal. Milburn is in motion, now set wide right. Elway's looking that way, rolling that way, fires. Touchdown.
I'm not sure that he came down in bounds, but Clay Matthews on Glenn Milburn, are you kidding me? What kind of a mismatch is that? Now, Clay Matthews is going to knock him out of bounds. That's exactly what the officials just called. That Clay Matthews forced Glenn Milburn out of bounds, but the key to that play was by the explosion at the line of scrimmage, shifting Milburn out. They got the mismatch. They got him on Clay Matthews. That is a touchdown. To give credit to the offensive coordinator, Jim Fossil.
Extra point by Elam is through. And the rookie Glenn Milburn with his 3rd receiving touchdown of the season from Elway has given the Broncos the lead.
To make the new Chevy S-Series trucks incredibly quiet, foam plugs, triple sealed doors, and acoustic panels redirect road, engine, and wind noise. Because even the smallest noise can hurt a reputation. The 94 Chevy S-Series, so new from the inside out, everything else is history.
For this guy, any deodorant will do, but these guys need Speed Stick, antiperspirant that gives 110%. And now Speed Stick deodorant has a powerful new formula to fight odor. Speed Stick, for movers and shakers, the #1, the only one.
You know the possibilities of toppings on that deal?
Yeah, 10.
1,048,576.
10 was just a ballpark figure.
Some ballpark.
Little Caesar's favorite 5. 2 pizzas, 5 toppings, $7.98.
Pizza, pizza.
The News Center 7 Weekend Reports, keeping you up to date, staying involved, getting the answers. Saturdays and Sundays, 9, 5, and 10 on Channel 7, Idaho's news channel.
Broncos take a 7-0 lead at the 11:06 mark, second quarter, on the Elway pass to Milburn.
The significance here, Tom, is that it doesn't matter if Glenn Milburn's feet were inbounds or not. I think they were anyway, but the officials called that Clay Matthews had forced him out, so that foot did not have to come down inbounds.
Third touchdown reception for the rookie from Stanford. Eden's kick taken by Baldwin at about the 3. Here the pads colliding as Baldwin takes it to the 23-yard line. 20-yard return. The stop by Darrell Hall.
Tommy Vardell, the starting fullback, who is also on the kickoff cover or return team, just absolutely threw one of the most devastating blocks I have seen in a long time. I didn't get the number of the player on the Broncos, and I'm sure that guy is turning around looking for the truck himself, but Tommy Vardell doing a little bit of everything out there. Whew, what a lick.
Tommy Vardell, the former roommate of Glenn Milburn when they were Stanford teammates.
Total domination by Denver.
Metcalf to the 25, only a yard gain, maybe 2. Mike Kroll having a good game. Trying to get the ball in the hands of Eric Metcalf, Ozzie Newsome, and Bill Belichick.
The crowd gave a pretty hearty boo after that first down run call by Bill Belichick, Ozzie Newsome, and company. Their feeling is that against this defense, which ranks last in the National Football League against the pass, you have to throw it on first down. That's what Bernie Kosar felt too.
Carrier and Jackson both wide to the right. I formation and the handoff to Metcalf from the tailback spot, and he's dropped by Simon Fletcher for a big loss.
Understand what the crowd is booing now. They are booing the conservative play calling, period. Eric Metcalf in the I formation, Tommy Vardell with the lead blocker, but Simon Fletcher, who hasn't had a sack since about the 3rd game this season, has really begun to crank it up in this one. A couple of big plays already.
Now, earlier in the game, in the first quarter, the Browns twice had 3rd and 15 and had to punt. Here's a 3rd and 14.
You don't throw it on 3rd down against this defense.
Play stopped as the flags fly. Fletcher got a head start, but he might have been drawn. I thought I saw a lineman flinch too.
Ordinarily, you'd think it is on the offense if they stop play.
False start, number 62, offense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Gene Williams, the right tackle.
Gene Williams played so well last week, but already with a mistake here, that drew Simon Fletcher off sides. Really, it was just the opposite. Simon Fletcher moved, and then Gene Williams reacted, but it's still a penalty on the offense.
Now 3rd and 19 from the gun. Kosar only has 3 wides. Jackson to the right, Tillman Carrier left. And Kosar on the run tries to get it to Jackson. Incomplete. Lilo Lang was covering Michael Jackson, who had a 62-yard pass reception for a touchdown from Vinny Testaverde against the Steelers.
That was an opportunity for Bernie Kosar to really pick up the first down here. Jackson was, even though he was lying on his back, could have had a chance to roll over. You see the first down marker. He was very close to it. I just don't know that after the broken ankle by Bernie Kosar that he can still throw off his back foot and on the run the way that he once could.
Brian Hansen on to punt once again to Glenn Milburn. Blocked and out of the end zone. A safety on the blocked punt by Reggie Rivers of the Broncos.
And the curse of the Denver Broncos continues to haunt Bill Belichick and the Cleveland Browns.
Reggie Rivers with the block of the Hansen punt for the safety. 9-0.
Your teeth aren't flat, are they? Of course not. If they were, a flat brush would be ideal. But since your teeth are shaped like this, we designed our brush like this. Introducing Crest Complete. Your dentist uses special instruments that get between teeth. Crest Complete gets between too, up to 37% farther than the leading flat bristle brush. So to help maintain a dentist clean at home, get new Crest Complete. Only Crest could make a brush this complete.
Other laser printers are still playing leapfrog, trying to reach the standards set by Hewlett-Packard. But no matter how hard they try, they keep falling short of the original. If it isn't a laser jet, it's only a laser printer.
I want the truth, not a song and dance. I want better, not more expensive. I want a car I can afford and like. Hey, I just want my money's worth. Okay, actually, I want more than my money's worth.
Special teams, a winner for the Browns last week. Will it cost them today? You're going to see Reggie Rivers right here just shoot the gap as they try and turn out. And that left Brian Kinch in the center on an island. You see him make a late grab, a great stab, late stab to try and catch Reggie Rivers, but it was too late. He had the block.
On the free kick, Hansen's punt will be taken by Milburn at the 22. Milburn spun around, and the momentum takes him down at about the 43-yard line. 16-yard return. Steve Everett hit him pretty hard, knocked him off his feet. The two rookies collided.
Watch Brian Kinch in the center just try and make a late grab. He knows he's in trouble. Tried to get a hand on Reggie Rivers, but it was too late. You can't let somebody come right up the gut. Mike Caldwell, who was playing the guard on the punt team, turned out, and that's what opened up the gap.
There's Kinchin. 8:52 now left in the first half as the Denver lead extends to 9-0, and the Broncos with the ball at their own 38. Bernstine and Del Pino in the eye. Bernstine, the tailback. And pitch to him. Got only to the 40, a gain of 2. Clay Matthews led the defensive charge.
The tackle is made by Clay Matthews.
Here's the Browns have made a pretty good adjustment to that sweep, which was netting about 7 yards a carry for Bernstine in the first quarter.
And it's interesting that the Denver Broncos are having so much success running outside. You really think that with Clay Matthews and Pepper Johnson out there, a couple of veterans, that would be one place you wouldn't want to run. But I guess the only other alternative, there's Nick Saban, the defensive coordinator, is to run it Michael Dean Perry and Jerry Ball. So really nowhere to go on this defense.
Bernstine, 9 carries, 37 yards thus far. Elway's pass complete to the 45. Bronco first down. Shannon Sharp snagged it. Covered by Terry Taylor, but a 14-yard gain.
Shannon Sharp's so tough. He's a big guy, but also has the speed to play on the outside. You see, just going for body position on the smaller Terry Taylor, and is tough enough to take the hit going over the middle. Really doesn't mind catching those passes over the middle. Kind of a tight end mentality.
Sharp, the former Georgia State triple jump champion. Del Pino. Nice run. He's inside the Brown 40, twisted down at the 38 by Pepper Johnson.
The Browns have to stop the bleeding now. They just have to stop the bleeding. They can't let the Broncos take it on in. I asked Bernie Kosar, can you guys win a shootout type of game, a 30-27 type of game? He said God would have to intervene for us to win one of those, and we may have to unless this Browns defense stands up soon.
Art Modell and the Cleveland fans have seen the Broncos dominate Leading 9-0, 2nd and 2 here. And nothing doing for Del Pino. Jerry Ball stopped doing his tracks.
So many teams this year have been double-teaming Jerry Ball on running downs and double-teaming Michael Dean Perry on passing downs. I don't think that Jerry Ball is quite the player that he once was because of some of the injuries, but when you line him up on the nose tackle, he is as good as anybody in football at stopping the run.
Put a big bear hug on Del Pino that time. He's out of the game on 3rd and 2. Milbert in the slot to the bottom of your screen. Elway looked for him, but he's not open, so he goes across the middle, and Russell wide open for the touchdown. Derek Russell wide open, a 38-yard score, and Elway is having a great first half.
And Tom, Nick Saban was so concerned when I talked to him yesterday because of the fact that they had cut Everson Walls. That meant that they had to completely reshuffle his substitution package, which is his nickel package. You see, he had to move Stephon Moore up, put Del Spear back in at safety. Eric Turner was back there as they split the seam between Turner and Terry Taylor. He was very concerned, not physically against the Broncos, but mentally, were they ready to play because of the fact that Everson Walls was no longer there.
Elam with the extra point attempt, and it's good. Elway, 38 yards to Russell. And the Broncos 16 zip.
Okay, guys. Hey, Kristen, do you remember where we parked the van?
There's only one minivan with a remote control sliding door, built-in child seats, anti-lock brakes, and driver's side airbag. Chevy Lumina takes good care of your family. It even has composite body panels to take care of itself. Lumina. It looks different because it is different.
Highway 421 near Spivey's Corner, North Carolina. Not exactly the place you expect to find a busy accounting firm like Duval & Dean. But thanks to Sprint Cellular and their car, Duval & Dean can handle clients clear across the state and still be there to take calls no matter where they are. There's one other advantage to doing business at 55 miles per hour. There's no fighting over who gets the window office.
When I became my own boss, I also became my own employee. So now he tells me to make coffee, open the mail, make sure the copier's working. So I checked around and people said get a Canon personal copier. Canon has a unique single cartridge that contains the toner, developer, drum, and virtually all the moving parts. Change the cartridge, and it's like getting a new copier. Buying it was such a good idea, I took him to lunch.
Canon personal copiers. Call 1-800-4321-HOP.
Next Sunday, a network premiere. Kurt Russell.
You have a bad day here, somebody dies.
William Baldwin.
I'm not gonna quit, you hear me?
Rebecca De Mornay. Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Show me a fire truck.
Donald Sutherland and Robert De Niro.
What would you like to do to the whole world? Burn it all.
Ron Howard's Backdraft with never-before-seen footage at 8/7 Central NBC next Sunday.
Broncos with a 16-point first half lead on Cleveland. Elam ready for the kickoff. Wolfley, Baldwin, and Vardell deep for Cleveland. With Baldwin standing at the goal line. Moves up to take it at the 7. And Randy Baldwin to the 26-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown pass to Derek Russell.
Here's the value of a veteran quarterback. Watch John Elway look over here. Eric Turner will slide this way, and that's going to open it up for Derek Russell to come in behind. Elway looks left, stays left. Turner moves that way and then comes back. Derek Russell wide open. I don't know what happened to Terry Taylor on that play. Looked like he was trying to cover someone short and allowed Russell to get in behind.
Elway's offense has really been percolating. Already has exceeded his touchdown pass total, and look at the domination by the Broncos. Cleveland in danger of being routed unless they get something going here. 23 yards of offense, and Kosar fumbles the snap. Dan Williams covered Kosar, who recovered the fumble. Did you see the other scores?
everything that can go wrong is going wrong. Remember, Bernie has a rookie center in there, Steve Everett. And of course, he missed the 3 or 4 games. Don't know if they're having some trouble just getting hooked up. But right now, this Browns offense looks inept.
In 13 plays, they have 16 yards rushing, 7 yards passing. Slip by Hoard as he tried to get going, and he got free. Hoard shakes a tackler, dragged down in Bronco territory by Steve Atwater. Hoard slipped shortly after he got the handoff, and then came free for 28 yards.
The Browns are just going back to what they do best, and I think this is right. That's not the prettiest move I've ever seen, but Leroy Hoard got the job done. He kind of stumbled and fumbled his way down the field, but a nice big gainer. Good job inside. Bob Dahl and Steve Everett double teaming the nose and creating the hole for Leroy Hoard.
So that one run, 28 yards, exceeded the total offense for the Browns to that point. Kosar's pass batted down at the line of scrimmage by Carl Mecklenburg. Boy, Kosar has struggled in the first half.
Carl Mecklenburg, the 5-time Pro Bowler, now is tied for the team lead with sacks. Mecklenburg has just been doing this for so long. If you don't get there, he's working against Houston Hoover. Get your hands up. And I'm not breaking any news and talking about the problems that Bernie Kosar has had with that sidearm delivery.
Less than 5 minutes remaining first half. Waters' defense has played well. Hoard catches the ball in the flat and then drops it. Well, they really look rusty after the week off.
Well, it's tough when you're calling plays on the sideline and you've just broken off a 20-plus yard run and you come back with back-to-back passes on first and second down, and then you're staring at third down and 10. You know, quarterbacks love to throw on first down, but you have to make it work. You have to go complete those passes for your offensive coordinators and play callers. Bill Belichick is that on this team to gain confidence.
Lowest league total in completions and only 1 of 6 today. Bad and getting worse. Kosar dumps it complete. Hoard, Leroy Hoard with another big play. The ball came loose at the end, but they will say he was down at the 20-yard line. No fumble. Broncos don't believe it, but the official signaled down.
Tom, this is a very close call because Hoard was not touched the first time that he went down. The second, they're going to give it to the Cleveland Browns. The second time is the issue. Was he touched when he hit the ground the second time before the ball came out? Good improvisation by Bernie Kosar, just dumping the ball off to Leroy Hoard. Now, the first time he's going to fall will not be touched. Now he gets back up. That is very, very, very close to a fumble.
Yeah, that could have very easily been ruled a fumble. Not touched, back up, ball free just as his knee hits. It was almost simultaneous, but it's 27 yards. Big play for the Browns, still in business. Here's Bardell on the draw, and the flags will stop the play.
Brian Kinchin jumped the snap.
Ball starts on number 88 offense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, first down. No play.
Let's take a close look now. Leroy Hoard goes down. Nobody will touch him. Then by the time he gets back up, does the knee hit the ground before the ball is stripped? No, it does not. That was a fumble. That was a fumble. Break for the Browns. Boy, do they need one in this.
Yeah, they needed a break. They've just gotten a 5-yard penalty, so it's 1st and 15.
4, please. Set the clock to 3:44 if you can.
3:44 he's calling for on the game clock. You see it at 3:39.
The game clock should be set to 3:44. 44. Thank you.
Timekeeping all set. From the 25. Cleveland desperately needing points. They trail 16-0. Kosar chased. There's a flag down. Kosar spun down by Mike Kroll. And a hold against the Browns.
I believe this one might be on Gene Williams working against Shane Dronit.
Holding number 64. Offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Houston Hoover guilty of the hold. I don't know if it was on Dronit or not, but Hoover, the guilty party.
Free agent from Atlanta. On the far side, the left guard, number 64 right there in the middle of your screen now. Working against the rookie, Dan Williams.
Well, after a big play, the Browns have been headed in reverse. It's now 1st and 25. Ball all the way back to the Broncos 35-yard line. Hoard, again he slipped. He wasn't able to pull that trick again. He is stopped for no gain, which gives us a chance to check in at NFL Live. Jim Lampley has an update.
All right, let's move south in Ohio to see what's happening in Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. O'Donnell trying to hit Ernie Mills in the flat. Darrell Williams picks it off of the Bengals, goes 97 yards. Then on the following possession, Pittsburgh fumbles. Schrader hits Query. It's 16-0 Bengals. And Tom, you just knew that Shula would get a win today, didn't you?
Yeah, with his dad set perhaps to break the record. Jim, son is getting in on the act and perhaps on the way to his first victory of the season.
I believe that score.
Against the Steelers, no less, who pounded them in Pittsburgh. Hoard. That was ugly.
You know, Leroy Hoard's had a couple of tough balls to try and catch, but hasn't made exactly the greatest effort in the world to turn around and get his hands on those footballs. You can see that offensively, this is not exactly what you would think of when you're talking about a team that's in first place in their division. This goes to show that you can win with defense and special teams right down the list towards the bottom in the National Football League offensively.
Third and long, and a delay of game penalty. This has become a not too humorous comedy of errors.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Can a dog turn on you in a hurry?
I met some of them down there. Yeah, I believe they can, but it's amazing the way that this crowd and that this team has reacted after the bye week. Now, certainly they did not have a great game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The two unbelievable punt returns by Eric Metcalf, but offensively, they had been on a little better roll than this. Just don't know if the bye week could cause this many problems.
Ernie Kosar, 2 of 8 for 39 yards, and the penalties continue to mount. Complete to Hoard, not much doing. Thrown back by Steve Atwater and others as we approach the 2-minute warning.
Tom, that was a good play, though, by the Browns. It gave them a chance to kick a field goal.
And we'll see that when we come back to Cleveland Stadium.
What is the color of a giggle? What is the sound of the sun going down? With 3 hours of breathtaking picture and sound on a single tape, an instant playback at the touch of a button, nothing portrays the moments that color our lives like a Sony Handycam camcorder. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
You've waited for a Buick. You've waited for Buick quality at a low sticker price. You've waited for a car with Buick's reputation for safety. It seems you've waited for a century. Buick Century. with standard driver airbag, anti-lock brakes, power locks and windows, and more. All for $14,995. So don't wait any longer. See your Buick dealer today. This is the value of the century.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car. See it. Hear it. Feel it. Catch it, if you can.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the new Chevy S-Series line of trucks. So new from the inside out, everything else is history. By Hager wrinkle-free cotton pants. 100% cotton, 0% wrinkles. By O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. And by Wendy's Super Value Menu and Value Price Kids Meal. There's something for everyone.
Most of the noise out of the dog pound today has been directed at the home team. Cleveland Browns trailing the Denver Broncos at the 2-minute warning first half.
But the reason that was a good play, Tom, was sure it was third down and a couple of miles to go for a first down. All they were thinking was field goal, and with that little 7 or 8 yard completion, set it up for Stover.
It's going to be a 49-yard attempt. As you see, opponents have not missed against the Broncos. Stover trying to hit from 49 yards. Low kick, and it won't even be close. Never got there. And that pretty well sums up the first half so far for the Cleveland Browns. Timeout, 1:55 left, 16-0.
This Heisman Trophy moment is brought to you by Wendy's International. John Heward was a coach's dream in 1964 when the Notre Dame quarterback took college football by surprise. Despite having barely played as an underclassman, Heward shined as a senior and wound up winning the Heisman over bigger names, thus creating a bit of a controversy. Heward began the season a virtual unknown, but ended it a Heisman Trophy winner.
Happy birthday, Cousin Dave!
What's this?
We're here for your birthday party!
That's next week.
Oh, Ed.
Does that mean there's no food?
There's a Wendy's nearby.
Now you're talking.
Everything on Wendy's Super Value Menu is 99 cents each. Freshly made salads, hamburgers hot off the grill, chili, delicious food you can only get here. Plus, for $1.99, get a hamburger kids meal.
Happy birthday! Look, we're twins.
Great.
Wendy's, you don't pay more, you just get more.
The problem with cotton pants is they come out of the dryer with all these wrinkles. But hey, Hager wrinkle-free cottons are 100% cotton. They come out of the dryer wrinkle-free. And really, really hot.
Oh. Hager wrinkle-free cotton, 100% cotton, 0% wrinkles.
At John Nuveen & Company, we believe our strongest bond is human. Call your advisor about Nuveen tax-free municipal bond funds or 1-800-4-NUVEEN.
The Goodyear Blip Spirit from nearby Akron, Ohio, braving the wintry temperatures today to give us the aerial views of Cleveland Stadium. And is it just me, or does it look especially drab when the home team trails 16-0?
Chance for John Elway to get it going once again. Plenty of time for him.
Boy, as Elway had a great first half. He has done very little wrong. 2 touchdowns and a safety. For the Broncos, Glenn Milburn needs a couple. Stopped by Michael Dean Perry.
Bill Belichick simply says that you're looking at the best quarterback in the National Football League. He leads the league in almost every offensive category. He's just played brilliantly this year. So happy to be in Jim Bossel's offense, his old Stanford offensive coordinator.
With that overhand toss to Shannon Sharp. Third catch of the day for Sharp. He's tackled by Randy Hilliard, and the clock continues to roll toward the 1-minute mark.
Tom, if there's been a storyline in this first half, it has been the success that the Denver Broncos offense has had on third down against the nickel packages of the Cleveland Browns. And I don't want to belabor the point, but Everson Wall's not here, and that package has been shaken up.
Third down play. Elway can't connect with Milburn. And the Broncos will have to punt with 46 seconds left in the half. I don't know if that's good or bad news for Cleveland.
Browns still have 2 timeouts remaining, so they'll get an opportunity to make it work.
You know what they need, don't you?
And if I'm the Denver Broncos, I punt this one out of bounds.
Yep.
If that guy doesn't beat me, nobody's going to beat me this afternoon, at least. That's why Tom Ruin's going to go over and say, now, Coach, I think I'm going to punt this sucker out of bounds, and we'll worry about their other teams when we come back in the second half.
Recently, Boomer Esiason tried to bet a few of his friends that they couldn't eat just one Lay's potato chip.
I bet you can't eat just one. If I lose, I have to shave my head? Just head? Shave? What? Oh, come on, man. No.
More and more people are discovering that Lay's are different.
Hi, guys.
So crunchy and perfectly golden, you can't eat just one.
Hey, come on. Do I look stupid? Who's stupid enough to take that bet?
Welcome to another day in the National Football League. Hello, I'm Jim Lampley. The 2 teams you're about to see.
Today's Lay's, now more than ever, bet you can't eat just one.
45 seconds left. The Broncos' Richard Smith had a little note for all of his special teamers, inviting them to a party with Eric Metcalf this week.
Put a card in all the special teamers' locker, and it said, guys, feel free to destroy Eric Metcalf this week. I talked to him just before the game. He wasn't too happy that that one got out in the media, though.
Metcalf wasn't too amused either, I don't think. Bruin to punt. And he angles it toward the sideline. It's end over end. Bounces, yes, out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. We'll stay with us at halftime for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Jim Lampley and Mike Ditka with all the scores and highlights. And a look at Don Shula through the eyes of his past players, all coming up at halftime on the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report.
You and Mr. Lampley did some serious traveling.
We may have crossed in the night, you know.
Some serious frequent flyer miles piled up. Did you come in on the blimp?
Well, no, I was the blimp, but I was on the airplane.
If they run this first play, this crowd is going to go crazy.
Well, Elway, Kosar is in the shotgun, and he has 3 wide receivers in the game. The 3 wide receiver package for the Browns. And Elway guns it to Metcalf, and what a great catch at the 46-yard line. What hand grab for 29 yards. There is a penalty marker on the play.
And Houston Hoover looks like he's hot. If they end up calling a holding on that play, just a momentum killer going in here at halftime. You know when an offensive lineman takes his helmet off, he's mad. Those guys, they don't like the publicity.
Sure sign, huh?
They don't like attention. They don't like you to know that they're even out there. They got their helmet off. They know they're on TV.
He would probably like a helmet about now.
To hit somebody.
There's no foul on the play. There is no unnecessary roughness. First down.
See, that's a good thing there. You take your helmet off and you scare the officials. That was a good play by Houston Hoover.
I hope he doesn't hear that you said that.
But forget about that. And Houston Hoover, this catch is unbelievable. Eric Metcalf continues to amaze.
20 seconds left. Kosar to Hoard. Nothing there. They were ready for that. It only got him 3 or 4 yards, and here's still in bounds. Atwater makes the tackle. Timeout. 14 seconds left. Coming up tonight on NBC, an all-new eyewitness video. Incredible footage of criminals caught on hidden camera, followed by an all-new Sequest adventure. Then Patty Duke and Martin Sheen star in a powerful thriller about a mother trying to bring her son's killer to justice. A suspenseful world premiere motion picture event based on a true story, A Matter of Justice. All coming up tonight on NBC.
Tom, there was significance to that play in which Houston Hoover argued his way out of that penalty, if you will, because it stopped the clock and the Browns did not have to burn a timeout. So now with 14 seconds left, they can throw another pass play, and if it's completed over the middle, then they'll still be able to take the timeout and kick the field goal. But because of the way that Matt Stover was so short on that first one, you would think that he's going to have to be somewhere close to the 30-yard line here in order to have a chance. So they need a pass play of about 12 yards.
Ball's at the 42 of the Broncos, who lead 16-0. Kosar's in big trouble. He's sacked by Mecklenburg. They use their final timeout with 8 seconds left.
And the Browns need to hustle back to the ball because this clock's going to start. They're down to 5.
I thought they called timeout already. But
you know, that's a poor play by that Browns offense. They didn't hustle back to the line of scrimmage. They could have just dumped the ball, stopped the clock, and preserved that timeout. Now they've got no choice but to throw it down the field or try to work it out of bounds. Poor hustle by the Browns. As the Cleveland Browns ran this play, now when the sack occurs, that's Carl Mecklenburg with the sack. See, they stopped the clock. They've got 8 seconds left. Now as a team, you've got to sprint back to the line of scrimmage because Bernie Kosar can take it and throw it right down in the ground. You save your timeout. You have 7 seconds on the clock. They fool around. The clock ticks down. They have to burn their timeout. Now almost no choice but to try and throw the alley-oop on down the field.
Jackson, Tillman, Carrier all set to Kosar's right. Just 5 seconds remaining. Broncos are offsides. This is a free play. Kosar heaves for the end zone, and it's intercepted by Atwater. But it looked like the Broncos were offside.
And they'll get another shot. The clock has expired, but the half cannot end on a defensive penalty.
Offside, number 99, defense. Defensive foul on the last play of the half. Untimed down. It'll be 3rd down again, Cleveland. 1 untimed down.
Right in the middle of your screen, and the significance now is that you also moved the ball 5 yards closer. Bernie came up a little short with that throw down to about the 3 or 4 yard line. Now if he can buy some time in that pocket, he should be able to make the throw into the end zone.
Shane Burnett offside, so another chance for Kosar and the Cleveland offense. This will come with no time remaining on the clock. And again, same formation. Tillman, Jackson, Carrier all wide to the right, and Metcalf. Another flag is down. Same play for the end zone, jump ball and incomplete. This one may be illegal motion on the Browns, which would end the half.
There were about 3 Browns that jumped that simultaneous motion and is going to be called. And you see Shane Burnett saying, nah, baby, we don't want that one.
We have an illegal shift on the offense. Offensive foul on the last play of the half. Penalty is declined. The half is over.
And so the first half will come to an end. It was a dismal first half for the Cleveland Browns offense. Denver Broncos with 2 Elway touchdown passes and a safety leading 16-0. Now let's go to the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza, where you always get great pizza plus something for nothing.
We welcome those of you who are in the dog pound to watch Denver Broncos taking a 16-0 lead over the Cleveland Browns at halftime. More of the same, Mike Ditka, for the Browns, who have been behind the 8 ball traditionally against Elway over the years at home.
He's the only one that has a whammy on him. Everybody else that goes into that stadium gets beat up, and they do a great job against him. But Elway is something else. And I tell you what he's getting. He's getting more and more used to the new offense they're running up in Denver, and they're getting better at it. And they keep getting better at it, they're going to be hard to beat in the stretch.
Trailing 16-0, and with Kosar limited in the game at QB, They've got to go to Eric Metcalf to try to get him back in the game.
Well, he's got to be one of them. There's no question about it. But, you know, 16-0, what's going to happen? They're not going to be content to run the ball. I'll bet on that. And they're going to try to throw the ball out. And right now, I just don't see Bernie getting the job done.
Cleveland not quite explosive enough. Meanwhile, elsewhere today, the Giants are in Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Troy Aikman red hot in the first half, 10 of 10 to start the game, 140 yards and 2 TDs, both of them long ones to Harper. And at halftime, it is 17-6 Cowboys over the Giants. Let's take a look at what's happening in the Astrodome, where the Oilers are knocking on the door of getting back into the AFC Central Division. They lead 19-7 over the Seattle Seahawks in the second quarter. Buddy Ryan watching as his defense tries to hold a 7-0 lead in the first quarter, but they couldn't do it, as Rick Meyer was equal to the task, lofting one to Kelvin Martin, who made the catch despite pass interference on Steve Jackson. An easy 53-yard touchdown that made it 7-7 at that point. But Warren Moon was red hot in the first half, 20 of 30. Second TD pass of the game here to Ernest Givens for 14 yards. PAT was no good, 13-7 at that point. Since then, 2 more Del Greco field goals have given the Oilers a 19-7 lead. And with Cleveland losing, and with Pittsburgh losing, as we'll see later, the Oilers are once again in good position to get back into the race.
Well, they got a very favorable schedule, and they're doing the right things now. If they quit bickering down there, this football team's got a chance to win the Central Division. But who knows if they'll quit bickering. Maybe after today, they'll find something else to complain about. I don't know. I hope they don't, because I think there's too much talent on the football team, Jimmy, that if they keep playing the way they are, it's going to be hard to beat them in that division.
All right, let's take a look at what's happening in Foxborough, where the Patriots and the Bills are locked up 0-0 at halftime. Scott Secules has suffered a separated shoulder for the Patriots. He has been replaced by Drew Bledsoe at quarterback, so the #1 draft choice in the whole league is back on the field to play for the Parcells Pats. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, in the Metrodome, the San Diego Chargers are trying to mount the same kind of mid-season win streak that pushed them into the playoffs a year ago. They lead 10-3 at this point. Despite a clean bill of health for Gino Torretta, Jim McMahon is injured and inactive today. Sean Salisbury gets the start. Chargers mount the first scoring drive. John Freese to Anthony Miller for 24 yards down to the Viking 38-yard line. That would ultimately set up this 3-yard Marion Butts touchdown, which is the only TD of the game. A 7-0 Charger lead at this point. And Mike, they got a big win over the Raiders last week. Perhaps that is going to rekindle the fire in San Diego.
Well, I think that win last week could be the catalyst for their season, really. Now, if they start playing the way they played the second half of last year with a good defense and an opportunistic offense, but they're running the ball a little better. Again, when you run the ball a little better, a lot of good things are going to happen for you, and they're pushing the ball down the field as a result of it.
All right, we told you about the trouble that Pittsburgh has been having at the hands of Cincinnati. Now the Steelers, with the second touchdown, have gotten to within 16-14 as they approach halftime in that game. At one point, it was Bengals 16-0 as Dave Shula looks for his first victory of the year. And here's how it happened. It was 3-0 on a Pelfrey field goal. Steelers were trying to go ahead. Neil O'Donnell's pass in the flat intended to Ernie Mills is picked off by Darrell Williams. He takes it 97 yards for a touchdown. They missed the PAT, but on the next possession, the Steelers fumbled the snap. Cincinnati got the football back, and Schrader hit Jeff Query from 7 yards out. Then it was 16-0. Then O'Donnell found Eric Green across the middle. He went 71 yards for the score. Steelers closed to 16-7, and that play seemed to light a fire under the Steelers. He got it back and moved at the end of the half for this Hodge touchdown catch, 9 yards from Neil O'Donnell to get back to within 16-14. Not as big a lead as the Bengals would like to have had at halftime.
Well, you know, again, Pittsburgh had some bad breaks in the first half. They made a mistake down there. I don't, you know, with the running game they have, I don't know why you throw it on first down there, but they did. But they're coming back now. Maybe they can win the game. I don't know. Cincinnati's not that bad a football team. Jim, when you get in the NFL week after week, any team can beat any team. So I don't see where it's a big surprise that they were ahead 16-0 in the football game.
Some profundity I never heard before. Any team can beat any team in the NFL?
Here's the thing. Everybody puts their pants on the same way.
Oh, unbelievable. We'll have to take it one day at a time from here on out. Meanwhile, the Lions are taking it one field goal at a time at home against the Buccaneers. A lot of yards for Barry Sanders in the first half, but only the 2 Hansen field goals, 6-0 Lions over the Bucs. Up next, we'll talk about the Dolphins' Don Shula, a long-time one-pants leg at a time kind of a guy, closing in on the all-time record for coaching victories. That'll be after this message from the NFL and a word from your local station.
That was me, Haven Moses, receiver for the Broncos at Red Rocks, appearing in the United Way public service spot. We met Jerry. Her story started back in 1978 when she was just a child. The doctors diagnosed a rare form of cancer in her eyes. Can any of us imagine the choice Jerry's parents had to make to remove her eyes or lose her life to cancer? They chose life, and the little girl came to the United Way's supported program for the blind.
Up, faster and faster the little engine spun, until at last
Jerry went on to attend high school and get top grades. And today, she's an active, productive part of our community. Now, I want you to meet Jerry. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Haven. I'd like to thank all the people that have given throughout the years. Thanks to you, it really does help all of us.
Now more than ever, the United Way, helping where help is needed most.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Monday, big news from the Playboy Mansion. The Fresh Prince's cousin's posing nude. One problem. Her chaperone at the party, he needs a chaperone of his own.
What would it take for a guy like me to get next to a girl like you?
5 years and 6 figures.
Then the Blossom Boys show up and their every fantasy comes true.
Bingo.
Whoa! A special Fresh Prince Blossom Hour, NBC Monday.
A husband's perfect crime.
They murdered our daughter, now he's trying to run away.
Based on the true story of one family's determined fight to stop him. The Unsolved Mysteries movie, NBC Tuesday.
Welcome to the revolution.
Revolution?
Ice draft from Budweiser.
Ice?
It's ice brewed. Chilled below freezing until ice crystals form, then cold filtered. Taste the future of draft beer. Ice Draft.
Idaho's #1 volume Nissan dealer, Better Nissan does it again.
Offering low Nissan prices with the Nissan Network. Today at Better Nissan, over 25 new Nissan Altimas are on sale with front-wheel drive,
airbags, and more.
Nissan Network price from just $11,995. Just $11,995 for a brand new Nissan Altima. Now you've got connections to low Nissan prices with the Nissan Network. Better Nissan, Idaho's #1 volume dealer.
Midway between Napa and Caldwell on the Boulevard.
You're watching KTVB Channel 7 in Boise, Idaho's news channel.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza, where you always get great pizza, plus something for nothing.
Welcome back. As you may know, it's a doubleheader day here on NBC. Some of you will see the Raiders and the Bears in the late game. Others will see the Dolphins and the Jets. And in that one, of course, Don Shula goes for career win number 325. If he gets it, he passes George Halas as the National Football League's winningest coach. We got the comments of some people who have spent time with a coaching legend.
To work hard when you're on the practice field, working hard, and I think that directly relates to wins on a football field.
I remember one time here in Baltimore when Don Shula was still playing with us. They had 4th down and they went for inches and they didn't make it. And Halas, right in front of the Bears bench, was standing there, and Halas is screaming at the official. And Shula said, "Mr. Halas, excuse me." He said, "But, you know, you embarrass me because I'm a Hungarian Catholic like you are."
Father, and because of that, for us too, and my brother and my sisters also.
It's a special time for him, and I'm very happy and proud of him. I've been in the game now, 13 years as a head coach. And he's got over 200 more wins than I have. There's no way that anybody's ever going to come close, in my opinion, of touching what Don has accomplished.
From one coaching legend to another who appreciates how hard it was to win 100 games in the NFL, much less 300, a Shula hallmark over the years, working with backup quarterbacks. Will Scott Mitchell come down to earth?
I don't think so. I really think it starts at the top, and I think that's been stated already. I think Don has a good offense. He's got some key people at his new receivers. He's got a new quarterback, got a new running back in Kirby. The only guy that there's really been there is tight end Jackson. So he's working with some new people, pretty solid offensive line. I think the key to Miami's success this year is going to be their defense. I don't think Mitchell's going to be the factor. If their defense can hold up and play good football, I think they'll be there at the end.
That's the way it was when Tom Matty was quarterbacking, when Earl Morrall was quarterbacking. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Shula's Dolphins against the Jets later today, and our NFL Live halftime activities continue.
Total domination by the Denver Broncos. Elam to kick off for the Broncos to open the second half. Baldwin will chase it down at the 8. Penalty marker down. Baldwin tripped up at the 20-yard line. Rondell Jones got Baldwin by the ankles. Let's check the penalty marker. There are 2 of them way back upfield.
Offside, number 40, kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
So we'll try it again. A re-kick.
Not too happy. Richard Smith, the special teams coach. That was Darryl Hall that jumped off sides for the Broncos. Just don't want to give these Browns any opportunities on special teams. A lot of different ways to hurt you, and obviously in that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple of weeks ago, their offense really didn't have that great of a day against the Steelers either. Just have to factor in those 2 punt returns by Eric Metcalf.
Well, they had the one big play, the 62-yard pass to Jackson, but you're right. It was not a great offensive showing despite the amount of points they put on the board and despite the win. In fact, the only good news for the Browns today has been the fact that the Bengals are beating the Steelers.
But even that looks shaky now.
16-14 the last time we checked.
Hope my Bengals just keep them under 50.
Baldwin this time will take it at about the 13. And Randy Baldwin to the 30 or 31-yard line, so a better field position for Kosar and company. 18-yard return. Frank Robinson made the tackle.
So that ended up being about a 10-yard penalty. Not a great first half for Bernie Kosar and the Browns.
That's the
punt.
That's sort of the Rocket offense, isn't it?
You know, you look at this, and really these two are pretty good because of the fact that that's the alternative, the block punt.
It's about 1, 2, 3 kick most of the time for the Brownies. 5 of 12. Beginning from the shotgun, and they caught a man offside. It was Dan Williams that came away early. That could have been interference, and it is. Michael Jackson bumped by Charles Dimry.
They're both going to go against the Broncos. They'll, of course, take the pass interference call and get the ball around
Offside,
the 45.
number 90, defense. Penalty is declined. Pass interference, number 29, defense. Automatic first down.
Charles Dimry, who had the coverage on that play, in talking with Charlie Waters, he said sometimes Dimry allows his guy to appear open so that he can come up and try to make the interception. He says, I just wish he'd just blanket his guy, take him out of the play, and not play with so much confidence. There he got there a little early against Michael Jackson.
Kosar ducks one man, throws to the sideline, incomplete, intended for Carrier, who was covered by Frank Robinson.
One of the disadvantages that Bernie Kosar has with that sidearm delivery is that when he has to recock his arm, it takes a long time, or it seems like it takes a long time for him to get the football out of there. He's going to pump fake it or just try to work around the pass rush, and then it's, and then it sails a little bit. The guy gets in his face, and very tough in the National Football League to use that sidearm delivery.
Again, he has to duck the rush. It is tripped up. There's a penalty marker. Shane Dronette tripped up Bernie Kosar. And a hold against the Browns. Looked like a takedown, and
holding, number 72, offense. Penalty is declined. Third down.
That's Bob Dahl, who was originally drafted as a defensive lineman by the Cincinnati Bengals. He ended up starting the final 9 games a year ago for the Browns. Really has played pretty well here, but boy, I tell you, the Broncos are putting a lot of pressure right up the middle and doing a good job of making Bernie Kosar move around that pocket.
Kosar has been exclusively in the shotgun on this first possession of the second half. Pressure again. He steps up to avoid it and dumps it to Hoard. Leroy Hoard with a head of steam dives for the first down. Frank Robinson tripped him up, but 13 yards and enough for a Cleveland first.
Interesting now that Bernie Kosar is back in the lineup and not Vinny Testaverde, that Leroy Hoard becoming a much bigger part of this offense. And what a huge first down for the Browns on 3rd down and about 13 to pick that one up.
And quickly from the no huddle come the Browns. Hand to Metcalf, dancing his way forward. Can't get away and gained only a yard before he's wrapped up by Mike Kroll.
One of the things that Gary Tranquil, the offensive coach, I almost said offensive coordinator, they don't have one of those here in Cleveland, but the quarterback coach, they wanted to put Metcalf in there and see if they couldn't draw the nickel defense out of the Denver Broncos so that they could run the football. Not so much to pass, but so they could run the football, and that's what they did there.
Again, no huddle, again, shotgun. Protection this time, plenty of it. Open man, Metcalf, dodged one man, dives inside the 35 to the 34. Tackled there by Kroll. 11 yards as they get the ball to Metcalf. First down, Browns.
I can't say that I blame them. When you're down 16 to nothing, you've got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of your stars. That's clearly Eric Metcalf. Lilo Lang tries to make a tackle. Charles Demery tries to make a tackle. Water bug on the field.
Ball at the 32 of the Broncos. Browns looking for their first points. Again, protection. Jackson wide open, makes it at the 10, and then is covered by Atwater. 22 yards. Jackson was open. Pass a little too high, but Jackson went out to get it.
Bernie Kosar was not happy with somebody within this organization who had begun to question his skills. They said they put him on the bench because of the fact that Bernie had lost a little. He says, give me a chance. I'll prove I haven't lost anything.
Best drive of the game for the Browns to open the second half. The fade for Jackson. He collided with the defense and no flags. Charles Demery and Michael Jackson running together. Incomplete.
Bernie Kosar thought he had a man-to-man coverage here, but then Demery slipped out to the outside, and Michael Jackson had nowhere to work in the corner of the end zone. He started off with that inside technique and then worked outside and gave Bernie nowhere to throw the football.
2nd and goal from the 9. And the Browns will huddle this time as Tillman trots out onto the field. And Carrier comes out. Dennis Smith and Tyrone Braxton were not fooled by that play.
Flanker screen. They brought in Lawyer Tillman to be the lead blocker, trying to get out in front. He's unable to make the block, but the speed of Mike Kroll, who once won the 100-meter dash. He was the champion in New England, ran a 10.7. Mike Kroll able to get out there and make the play on Metcalf.
10th play of the drive for the Browns. 3rd and goal from the 8. Metcalf's out of the game. There's the fade for Jackson. Penalty. That'll be a touchdown. Touchdown. Same play we saw earlier. Jackson against Demery. Interference was called, but it didn't matter. Jackson made the catch and got 2 feet down.
There's going to be a second flag. They're going to call him for unsportsmanlike conduct because of the arguing after the play.
Pass interference, number 29, defense, penalties declined, touchdown. We have an unsportsmanlike conduct foul on number 29. 15 yards will be enforced on the kickoff.
There's the interference. There's the touchdown.
And the jawing started moments later. So Charles Demery with 30 yards worth of penalties on one play. They came back to the play that had failed on first down and completed it this time for the touchdown.
What great concentration by Michael Jackson to make the catch despite the interference. The extra point by Stover is good. And the new look Cleveland Browns. Belichick did light a fire at halftime.
How do you know which motor oil to buy? They all look alike. They feel alike. You can't see them working in your engine. Well, first you ask the people who know cars best. ASC certified master technicians. and then you ask them which oil they put in their own cars. More top mechanics use Valvoline than any other brand of motor oil. Valvoline can help cars go 100, 200, 300,000 miles and more. So before you buy oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put in theirs.
People who know use Valvoline.
Recently, Oldsmobile pitted its 88 LSS against Acura Legend L and Lexus ES300. Well, actually, no. In fact, if you call this toll-free number, 1-800-LSS-TEST, we'll send you a free video showing how well the LSS stacks up against cars costing thousands more. You'll probably be grateful. After all, it's your money.
After these messages. The rush is on for the incomparable GE Profile refrigerator. The GE Profile is full of smart ideas, like a shelf that tucks away for tall things, and shelves that glide out so you can find things. It's called Smart Space Design. Smart ideas that let you put things in, take things out, and clean things up so quickly and easily that you'll never again miss your favorite commercials.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Oldsmobile. By Citibank Visa. Now with your photo and signature on the front for greater security. Not just Visa, Citibank Visa. By Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. And by Pringles. So fresh, once you pop, you can't stop.
Slate gray skies of Cleveland matching the roof of Cleveland Stadium and the waters of Lake Erie. As we come down to the stadium, 15-yard penalty on the kickoff. I might go for an onside kick or something here while you're hot. Stover will kick it high and deep. Taken by Milburn. Milburn dancing his way to the 15-yard line, maybe the 14 only, and stopped after a 13-yard return by Randy Baldwin.
That's a nice job of kicking that time by Matt Stover. He got it up high enough that his cover team had a chance to get down there, and now they have him trapped back inside the 15-yard line. See if Elway can pull some magic now.
Those Hound Dogs in the pound just now getting worked up. This is the most excitement they've had since Chris Collinsworth's pre-game show visit.
That's the truth.
Bernstine behind Elway. Elway hot in the first half. Here's Bernstine to the 16 or 17. Rob Burnett hanging on, gets him to the turf.
Nice play by Rob Burnett. Leads this team in sacks with 5 and shows he can do it against the run as well.
Bernstine, 10 carries, 41 yards today. 16-7 Broncos. This is their first possession of the second half. 10:20 left third quarter. Elway's pass to Bernstine, one-on-one with a linebacker, and carries Mike Johnson with him for another yard or two, picking up a Denver first down.
And boy, can this place get quiet after it was so noisy just a minute ago. Mike Johnson made the tackle. As you look at the first half possessions of the Denver Broncos, not exactly a fast start, but John Elway got it going with the passing game late in the first half.
From the Denver 26. Elway rifles it down the sideline, incomplete. Pass intended for Arthur Marshall, who was streaking down the sideline, but Mustafa had good coverage with him stride for stride.
Najee Mustafa is having a good season. He's the one that had that 97-yard interception return against Scott Mitchell of the Dolphins. Maybe the only bad play that Mitchell had the entire season. Just absolutely perfect coverage. Got his head turned around. Beautiful pass defense by Najee Mustafa.
Mustafa coming over as an unrestricted free agent from Minnesota after missing all last season with a back injury. Quick release by Elway. Flag down. The pass to Johnson is complete. Immediately hit by Stevan Moore.
Bill Belichick just got a flag. He was standing right next to the back judge. Vance Johnson went down and pushed off and then got the completion. Good call by the officials and good call by Bill Belichick. He got the call. He was right in the ear of the official, and he's going to get this call.
The officials having a discussion, as you can see.
Vance Johnson in the slot's going to come down here and push off in order to make the reception. Boom, there it is. You can't do that. And now for the face mask penalty at the end of the play. Stephon Moore came over to make the tackle. I don't think he got the face mask though.
In any event, the penalty's offset at 2nd and 10. Elway in trouble. Ball tripped him up. Great play by Jerry Ball as Elway was sprinting past. He was able to trip him up.
If there's any one player that represents the dog pound better than anybody else, it's big Jerry Ball. We saw him run down John Elway in the first half. He's getting double teamed, keeps pushing, then makes the dive and the stop on John Elway. The arch nemesis for John Elway all day long has been Jerry Ball.
Glenn Milbert in the game, joining Elway, who's in the shotgun on 3rd and 8. Elway's pass to Johnson is complete. It'll be very close to the first down. Terry Taylor on the tackle to see the spot of the football. Elway under pressure did a great job to get rid of it, right on target. First down, Denver.
Nick Saban, the defensive coordinator, took a chance and got burned. He came with the safety blitz right here, and when that failed, it leaves you one-on-one coverage in the secondary, and Elway burns them. Nice job of picking up by the back. Allowed John Elway to step right and make the completion.
First down, Broncos from their own 37. They lead 16-7. Del Pino avoided 3 tacklers to get back to the line of scrimmage and gain a yard. NFL Live standing by for an update now. Let's check in with Jim Lampley.
Remember that global conspiracy to get Buffalo back to the Super Bowl? Well, there's a slight hang-up for the moment, as in the 3rd quarter, Leonard Russell caps off a 73-yard drive, 8 minutes and 23 seconds long, to give the Patriots a 7-0 lead over the Bills. Back to Tom.
Bill Parcells, an old Bills nemesis, about to strike again, huh?
And the Bills always have trouble in New England.
False start. I heard that gun fire twice, I think. Rob Burnett was off to the races.
Offside, number 90, unabated toward the quarterback. No play, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
This is a rule they put in just for the quarterbacks. You know, when you get 280 pounds moving in one Johnson, whoa, no, baby, no, don't do that. But they put in that rule. Ordinarily, you can jump off sides and they won't call it, give you a free play. But if the guy looks like he's going to wound somebody like John Elway, they go ahead and blow the whistle.
Now 2nd and 4. Yard line, a Denver first down, chased down by Mike Johnson. Del Pino out of the backfield. He was the up back, the fullback, got to the sideline, was waving his hand at Elway to throw him the ball.
Tom, that was about the 5th choice in this pattern. As you're going to see Elway look here, look here, look here, look here, and then finally throw it out here to the side. This is what Jim Fossil's offense is all about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's always somewhere to throw the ball, and Elway is executing this offense beautifully.
It was like a sandlot play. Del Pino waving for it. That time, Johnson is short-hopped with the ball by Elway.
Michael Dean Perry came in with the pressure. I asked Michael Dean if he was concerned about the fact that he only had 2 sacks on the season. He said, no, baby. They come in bunches like bananas. Last season, the last 5 games, he had 6.5 sacks. Michael Dean will just shed his man and get his helmet right up underneath the chin of John Elway.
Kind of caught his ankle in an awkward position, too. Elway was a little gimpy as he tried to walk off the hit by Michael Dean. Milburn, the lone setback. It's 2nd and 10. Milburn on the handoff, wrapped up immediately and ripped back by Randy Hilliard.
Randy Hilliard really has a lot of pressure on him now. Without Everson Walls, he's become the next corner in that secondary. You see there, he's got great speed, 4.3 speed, and also showing he can do some damage against the run. Nice play by Hilliard.
Denver has converted 5 of 8 third downs. Elway wide open to Sharp for the touchdown.
Again, the nickel package has killed the Cleveland Browns today.
Sharp came free. Dale Spear tried to recover. He just bounced off Sharp, who took it 33 yards for the touchdown.
Shannon Sharp just right up the seam. Again, John Elway able to misdirect the safety. That time, Dale Spear, as he looked left, Shannon Sharp got to flex.
Jason Elam out of the hold by Tommy Maddox will try the extra point. Here's another look.
See how Elway looked to the left side and then comes back. You know, this is something you don't see from a lot of wide receivers. Not a lot of wideouts do that flex thing.
Extra point is good. Cleveland scores to open the second half. Denver answers.
So, you're buying a new car. Well, before you spend all that money, why not make a free call? 1-800-LSS-WINS. When you do, we'll send you a free video showing how well the Oldsmobile 88 LSS luxury sedan stacks up against cars costing thousands more. It's your money, but fortunately, it's also a free call.
If you could see inside your suitcase when you travel, you'd see how Samsonite Hardside protects what's inside. Because Samsonite has a crush-resistant outer shell and a durable hardside construction that's designed to hold up over the long haul.
Daddy, did you bring me anything?
Samsonite Hardside. After all, you've got your life in there.
Wouldn't it be great if you were stranded on a desert island with a beautiful woman named Betty? Cool. And while scouting the island, you were suddenly surrounded. You! But then, they noticed your shoes. You! Great one! Booga, booga! So they gave you gifts. Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. Specially lined for really smooth. Bottle beer taste and care! Tweeting time! Wouldn't that be great?
The renovation of downtown Cleveland in progress along the Cuyahoga River. There is the, as yet officially unnamed, but the Gateway Stadium, new home of the Cleveland Indians. It'll hold 42,000 as the Indians open their season April 4th. And just behind that tall building, the new arena going up there will be the new home of the Cleveland Cavaliers next season. All in downtown Cleveland. And of course, inside Cleveland Stadium, which will remain the home of the Browns, the home team down 23-7 as Elam kicks off. Baldwin had a little seam and a flag is down. Tackle of Baldwin made by Jerry Evans after an 18-yard return.
What a huge drive, though, by John Elway and the Broncos. The Browns come right out, take it down for the score, regain the momentum, and then John Elway, as he has done so many times in this Browns team, silenced the crowd.
Speaking of silence,
holding.
Oh, there it is.
Number 56 on the return, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So 10-yard penalty against the Cleveland Browns will set them back as their offense comes on. Shannon Sharp with the gorilla look after that touchdown pass.
Look at the guns.
Citibank has really given us a new sense of self because we have our own identities.
I have a Citibank Visa card, and it does have my photo on it, so I have one less worry.
And not only that, but you can pick what you like, so it doesn't look like a DMV photo.
I don't know why the other credit cards aren't doing the same thing. We need a photo card. The family members can tell us apart.
Introducing the first credit card with your photo and signature on front from not just Visa, Citibank Visa.
My dandruff and itch are awful. I'll try anything. Denorex tingles. Head and Shoulders doesn't.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denorex has something extra that tingles.
That's why I started using Denorex. No flakes, no itch.
Denorex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
Now McDonald's always has one extra value meal for $2.99. Might be this one, this one, this one, or to find out which extra value meal is $2.99, go to your local McDonald's. Because if you want to know, you gotta go. Come on, no food fights.
Recently, Oldsmobile pitted its 88 LSS against Acura Legend L and Lexus ES 300. Well, actually, no. In fact, if you call this toll-free number, 1-800-LSS-TEST, we'll send you a free video showing how well the LSS stacks up against cars costing thousands more. You'll probably be grateful. After all, it's your money.
Coming up next, the L.A. Raiders, led by quarterback Jeff Hostetler and their tenacious D, blow into the Windy City to take on the Chicago Bears. Next on NBC.
Denver up 23-7 on the Browns. 5:33 left, third quarter. And Cleveland with the ball at the Brown 18-yard line. Kosar's pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Mike Kroll. Second pass deflection of the day for the Denver defense.
Bernie Kosar really wanted to throw the ball on first down, due in large part to the fact that usually Mike Kroll drops into pass coverage, and to be honest, he's not very good with his zone defense. Pretty good with his vertical jump, but not very good with that zone defense. But they're going back to his strength. They're letting him rush.
Kosar's second down pass to Leroy Hoard. Hit immediately. No gain on the play. Simon Fletcher.
The wind just seems to have gone from the sails of the Cleveland Browns after that drive by John Elway. They were so emotional coming out after the half and drove right down the field, and then Elway just shut them up.
Houston having a big day. They could be back in the AFC Central race if both Cleveland and Pittsburgh lose. Again to Hoard, again very little. Harold Hall doing a number on Hoard that time. And a crescendo of boos will escort Kosar off the field.
I never thought of the dog pound as being Dalmatian-type dogs, but I guess anything goes.
That's Milburn awaiting the punt by Brian Hansen.
Their version of Eric Metcalf.
Good punt by Hansen. Milburn backpedals to the 29. Spun around and taken down at the 44-yard line. 53-yard punt, 15 yards on the return. Denver's ball when we come back.
So, you're buying a new car? Well, before you spend all that money, why not make a free call? 1-800-LSS-WINS. When you do, we'll send you a free video showing how well the Oldsmobile 88 LSS luxury sedan stacks up against cars costing thousands more. It's your money, but fortunately, it's also a free call.
If your feathers have been ruffled by downdrafts in the market, get on board something big, safe, and secure. GetNet. It pays.
At the end of the day,
More top mechanics in America choose One Motor Oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline.
Place you can't resist. There's no bag chips you can pop like this. Chips and bags got busted pieces. Brings you down with all their greases. The Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't. You got the stack, you got the bunch. For a whole lot of taste of the Pringles crunch. You got the duck-bill lizard too. Only Pringles rings taste like this to you. The Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't. So can those bags of fresh whole chips. Nothing like Pringles crush your lips. Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop.
Denver leading Cleveland 23-7, 4:39 left in the third. College football yesterday, the Florida State Seminoles a little flat against Maryland, but passed their final hurdle before their big matchup this Saturday in South Bend. It'll be Florida State 1 against Notre Dame 2.
Yeah, Tom, and I guess it's conceivable in that football game, if it's close enough, that they could remain 1-2, although Nebraska is still undefeated, and you would think that they might jump up.
I want to ask you about cold weather right after this Denver play. Robert Del Pino got a yard. Now, when you were playing for the University of Florida, and you lads had to come north to play in the colder climes, how did you react?
You know, I really think that that's going to be a factor in the ball game. Everybody is more or less big yawn. That's the way this game's gone. But more or less everybody has downplayed the fact that the Florida State Seminoles are going to have to play in the cold. But it was a major factor for the University of Florida when we went north. Very difficult for us to play in the cold weather.
College football game of the year, Notre Dame and Florida State, 1:30 this Saturday, Eastern Time. Out of the backfield to Bernstine, rocked down at the 45, maybe enough for a first down. Let's check in with Jim Lampley at NFL Live.
And take a look at the Metrodome, where John Freeze gets it to Anthony Miller, who goes 66 yards to give the Chargers at that point a 16-3 lead. Later, a Salisbury to Anthony Carter pass made it 16-10. The two Anthonys, 14 catches, 260 yards, 2 TDs. They're making their mark. Tom?
All right, Jim. Anthony Miller off to a slow start with the Chargers, but finding his stride the last few weeks.
Against a pretty good defense today, too.
Elway, quick shot to Johnson. Can't get away, although he drags Mustafa to the 40-yard line.
John Elway is just so happy to be in this offense, and his owner, Pat Bolin, said that, you know, one of the dumbest things we did as an organization was trying to make John Elway fit into somebody's scheme, specifically Dan Reeves. He said, now we've taken a completely different philosophy. We're going to try and take John Elway's skills and build around that. He's the franchise. Why not?
Big day for Elway. He's 17 of 22, 243 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Del Pino breaks it to the outside. Caught from behind, then the pursuit arrives. Give Pepper Johnson credit for the tackle, but it's 13 yards and another Bronco first down. They're moving the ball at will on Cleveland.
The Denver Broncos offense obviously known for their passing game with John Elway, but I have really been impressed with the way that they have run the football. And this offense is going to continue to get better if Don Maggs is going to come back and be a bigger part of the offensive line. They'll get Keith Karst, their center back. This is a team to watch out for in the second half of the season.
Like Mike Ditka saying at halftime, as Elway gets more and more comfortable with the new offense, they'll get better. Here's Milburn. He's a new weapon, too, and he's out of bounds inside the 20. Forced out by Stivon Moore after 11 yards.
Talking about how they retooled this offense, they hired his college offensive coordinator in Jim Fossil, spent $15 million for offensive linemen. Can't tell, Milburn's shaken up a little bit on the play. But they have done everything to build around John Elway and got that young man, Glenn Milburn, to be their third down receiver. Everything was to the strength of John Elway.
From the 16, first down for the Broncos. They already lead 23-7. Tough run by Del Pino. Taken down by Bill Johnson and others. It'll be a 4-yard gain.
One of the guys doing a good job up front for the Denver Broncos is Gary Zimmerman, and he wanted to thank the National Football League. You see him right there, number 65, wanted to thank the National Football League for cracking down on steroids. He said that the good news was that he wasn't going to have to play against the likes of guys like Dexter Manley in this league anymore.
Less than a minute remaining in the third quarter. Ball's at the Cleveland 12. Ripping straight ahead is Rod Bernstine.
I just can't believe the way that the Broncos are running the football on this Cleveland Browns defense. The Browns came in as the third best team in the National Football League against the run, and they are just on their heels going backwards, and Rod Bernstein getting those shoulders down. They've been working on them to do exactly that, and Nick Saban having a tough time trying to figure out how to do it. This is the first time all season, I believe, that the Browns have allowed over 100 yards rushing.
Closing seconds of the third quarter. In fact, Denver will not run another play.
Get away from that dog pound.
And with 5 seconds left, they call a timeout. I don't know if the play clock was running down and they didn't want to avoid a penalty or what. Looked like they were going to let the quarter expire before they ran a play.
Maybe the play clock was running down, but obviously John Elway, with a chance to put the nail in the coffin of the Cleveland Browns, didn't want to make a mistake, didn't want to take a chance on just a third down and very short situation.
Once this game is over, we'll be sending you to another game on NBC coming up on most of these stations. Game 2. Many of you will see the classic matchup between the Dolphins and the Jets as Don Shula tries to become the all-time winningest coach. Others of you will see the Raiders take on the Chicago Bears. 2 good games for you in the second half of our doubleheader here on NBC.
The Jets always give the Miami Dolphins problems. So
well, they've had some great shootouts over the years, haven't they? Usually exciting offensive games.
Beat them earlier this season as well. Broncos might have to take another timeout. They got about 16 guys in the huddle now.
Play clock is down to 10. Now Jerry Markbright says reset the play clock.
And the reason that he did it is because of the late substitution of the Denver Broncos. He had to give the Cleveland Browns a chance to make their substitutions as part of the new rules in the National Football League. That's why he reset the clock.
Now he's explaining it to the Browns, who really had the Broncos scrambling to get their play off. They have plenty of time now. The play clock, 15. It's 3rd and 1. Pitch to Bernstine. He has a first down to the 3-yard line of Cleveland, and that will bring the third quarter to a close. At the end of 3, it's Denver 23-7. Back after a word from your local stations.
Overcast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Fourth quarter begins with Denver on the Cleveland 2-yard line, up 23-7. Cleveland's got to be desperate to keep them out of the end zone here, if at all possible. Elway throws it away. That's Shannon Sharp crossing at the back of the end zone and elected to heave it out of bounds.
Pressure on Elway forced him to get rid of the football. I believe that's Rob Burnett, it is, who came in late. Shannon Sharp was breaking open in the back of the end zone, but John Elway just didn't have time to find him. Big set of downs for the Cleveland Browns defense now. A touchdown by John Elway and the Broncos gives them more than a 3-touchdown lead.
Bernstine stopped short of the goal line by Pepper Johnson and others.
You know, Rod Bernstine was questionable coming into this game. He had pulled a calf muscle earlier in the week in practice. Did get a chance to practice on Friday, but they weren't sure he'd be able to go the entire afternoon. But what a factor he's been in this ball game.
So it's 3rd and goal from the 1. Denver has converted 8 of 10 on the afternoon. Bernstine on the sweep. Racing for the corner and knocked out of bounds. Well short. Loss on the play. Eric Turner -4. Great job by Turner.
Tom, Clay Matthews right out here is going to be the guy that makes this play. Shannon Sharp goes in motion. He's going to get hooked up with Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews is going to maintain that outfield position and just run the back out of bounds. Eric Turner there to clean it up. Clay Matthews, the veteran, nice football play.
So they do hold him out of the end zone. A 22-yard field goal attempt by Elam. And he boots it through. So the field goal is good. The Denver Broncos extend their lead over the Browns to 26-7. It's been a long afternoon for Cleveland Browns owner Art Modell. His team trailing 26-7. First place team in the AFC Central. Some of you now will be leaving us to join the Buffalo at New England game.
Okay, now Roddy, read that approach now. Read it.
And for those of you still with us, ready for the kickoff, and Eric Metcalf has come in to receive the kickoff, standing back at the goal line. It had been Baldwin earlier.
Now, if Eric Metcalf returns this one for a touchdown, do we get the audience back?
Very short kick. They don't want Metcalf to handle it. He's going to get it anyway, but at the 16. To the 30-yard line. So give him 14 yards on the return. Tackle by Elijah Alexander.
Eric Metcalf returns the kick.
Well, just about any yardstick you want to use to measure it, the Broncos have dominated the game, including the scoreboard, where they're up 26-7. There you see the other scores. New England hanging on to the lead over Buffalo.
Minnesota making a comeback, and the Bengals. Unbelievable.
In the fourth quarter and still up on the Steelers. The late handoff to Leroy Hoard. Running room up the middle. Hoard breaking tackles to the 48 of the Broncos. A 21-yard gain. Jim Lampley standing by at our NFL Live studios to give us this update. Jim?
Buffalo Bills trying to get back in it against New England, trailing 10-0 in the fourth. They go to the no huddle. It results in that Kelly DeMetzelaar's touchdown pass from 9 yards out, narrowing the Parcells Pats lead over Buffalo to 10-7 in the fourth.
Kosar's best pass of the day. Knocked the hat off the policeman.
And you can see right there on top why he wears that hat. Little spot can get cold in the wintertime in Cleveland. Did a nice job here flexing those knees, getting down, keeping an eye on the football. There it is. But you lose the hat, and then everybody's going to see this.
-5 on the sack of Kosar as Shane Dronette, in his second year from Texas, second-round draft choice of the Denver Broncos, gets the sack.
Well, this much maligned defensive backfield of the Denver Broncos did the job there. This isn't the fault of the offensive line. Plenty of time for Bernie Kosar. Dronette just coming around. Simply nobody open down the field for Bernie.
4 sacks for -17. Kosar's pass. Holding on is Michael Jackson. Terrific concentration by Jackson as
Michael Jackson did a great job of finding the hole in the zone. Dennis Smith was on that side. He's going to come up and make a big hit. But Michael Jackson showing a lot of courage hanging on to the football.
Jackson, 3 catches, 44 yards, including a touchdown. Hoard out of the backfield. Draws a crowd and pays the price. Hammered backwards. Lilo Lang was there first. Others arrived, and there's a penalty marker.
There's no foul on the play. There was no face mask. No foul.
So they picked the flag up.
Now, why do you throw a flag to tell us there was no flag on the play and no face mask? Apparently, one official saw from the one angle and thought it was a face mask. Yeah,
which it is.
I'd say that's no face mask. All right.
Kosar spun down, big sack for the Broncos. Mecklenburg takes him down at the 40. That's a 10-yard loss.
Carl Mecklenburg closing in now on Simon Fletcher. Big happy face out of Carl Mecklenburg. I asked him yesterday, I said, is there anybody in the National Football League that you haven't had a chance to hit that you'd really like to? He said, yeah, John Elway. I said, what? He said, I chase him around in practice every single day and I never get to hit him. I'd love to smack him one time.
Kosar to Hoard. Flag down as Hoard is taken by the jersey and pulled to the turf by Tyrone Braxton. While they sort the penalty out, bad news for Cleveland fans from Cincinnati, where the Steelers have taken a 21-16 lead on a 1-yard Barry Foster run.
That's right, my boys are just warming up there. They got to do that late fourth quarter thing in Cincinnati.
I'm surprised you're still sticking with them. Usually you bail out by now.
An eligible receiver downfield on the pass, number 61, offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, I didn't say who my boys were.
Steve Everett, illegally downfield.
It's Carl Mecklenburg. I asked him about his biggest hit ever. He hit Marcus Allen one time on a little dump pass coming out of the backfield. Said Jim Plunkett hung him up, and I should have sent him a Christmas card. I got to start the next week.
Browns going for it on 4th and 11. They trailed 26-7. They've converted all 5 of their 4th down attempts this season. Kosar's pass way over the head of Jackson. At that point on 4th down, why not try?
You got to give it a shot there. I think maybe Bernie just lost track of it. Don't want to throw that one away on 4th down.
10:43 left in the game. All Denver.
It's the game of the year. Number 1.
Welcome back to Cleveland Stadium. 10:43 left in the game. 26-7 Broncos. And Elway and company looking to just salt it away now and work the clock a bit. Rod Bernstine would be the man that would get a lot of work in that situation. Here he is, a 1st down carry. Punishing tacklers. He gains 9 yards.
The ball carrier, the tackle.
Let's go to NFL Live. Another update from Jim Lampley.
All right, Tom, just in case you and Chris wanted to refresh your memory as to what the garden variety 1-yard Barry Foster touchdown run looks like, there it was, a quick glimpse, and it has put Pittsburgh ahead of Cincinnati, as you already told him, Tom, 21-16 in the 4th. Just trying to help out, guys.
We appreciate all your efforts today, and we could have used a little more help if you look at that score, 26-7.
Can we get a parachute out of the booth?
I hope you have McGuire back to consciousness now. I saw him there on the pregame show. Bernstine only needed a yard. Forward progress might have been enough. He's pulled back by Mike Johnson.
Now here's a good sign that a game's not going well. Look at all the room around Bill Belichick. Nobody, even this guy's not going to come over there and stand close to him. The referee will go here, but then he'll move up. Nobody wants to be around the head coach when things are this ugly.
So We'll measure to see if forward progress was enough for the first down as Bernstine pounded ahead by half the length of the footballs. Well, Denver Broncos were 3-3 and then had a bye week. Came back with a win at home against Seattle last week, and a win today would put them 5-3 and certainly right back in the thick of things in the West.
You know, the Browns, though, this was the best start for them that they had gotten off to since 1977, the year before Clay Matthews was drafted on this football team. The hopes were so high, now diminished just a bit.
Not only losing, but the severity of the loss. They have just not looked good at all. Del Pino on that carry, tackled by Pleasant. Two disturbing factors. The overriding one would be the ineffectiveness of the offense, and the other disturbing quality is the fact that the Broncos have been able to run on the defense, and usually they've been very tough against the run.
Well, that's what we were told yesterday. Jim Fossil said that he felt like this team was really coming together as an offense. Against Seattle, he could see the running game getting much better. John Elway was going through his progressions and reads so much better. They were making better adjustments in the red zone. I'm not so sure that this just isn't a great offense of the Denver Broncos. They lead the league in scoring.
Bernstine had a head of steam up, and he has another Denver first down. Clay Matthews, number 57, the NFL's oldest defensive player, was able to make the tackle. Look at that yards rushing. Now remember, the Browns average giving up just over 78 a game.
You know, there's some speculation, too, that this may be Clay Matthews last year. With the salary cap kicking in next season, there's not going to be room for all those high-priced veteran players. The tendency will be to go with younger, lower-priced players to try to get under that salary cap. But if it is, it will be a real shame that the cap has legislated, if you will, Clay Matthews out of the game of football.
He was saying, though, he'll find a semi-pro team or something. He'll find some way to play. That's how much he loves it. And he says when you hang out with 22-year-olds all the time, you start to think you are one. You start to feel like one.
He had really hoped that that game that went over Pittsburgh would be a major step for this team as they tried to make it on into the playoffs.
Bernstine, a couple of tough yards. Mike Johnson, another tackle. Well, Denver came out of its bye week at Mile High Stadium a week ago against the Seahawks and looked pretty sharp. A little sluggish at first, as I remember, but hitting their stride. Whereas the Browns, coming off their bye week, have just been almost flat from the outset.
And Wade Phillips did an interesting thing when he took over this football team. He gave it back to the players. He formed committees and had them elect from each player group, the linemen, the wide receivers, the running backs. Each one of those groups elected one representative, and they said, here, this is your football team. They got to make the rules in the clubhouse, got to talk with the head coach about any changes that they wanted to try and make. And the big thing that did was Carl Mecklenburg was basically saying, he said, you know, we used to try and win football games because we were afraid of losing, because we were so uncomfortable around Dan Reeves. If we happened to lose a football game, it really was not fun at all. As you see Carl Mecklenburg, the blonde hair in behind. But now Dan Reeves has really made us feel like, or I'm sorry, Wade Phillips now has really made us feel like we want to win for us. We want to win because this is our team.
And of course, for his efforts, Wade Phillips has been tagged as too easy on his players by some of the fans. He's been criticized for being too easy on them, although with each victory, the howls of the fans diminish. Penalty markers down.
And Tom, I really think the Denver Broncos are going to be just so much tougher in the second half of the season than they are in the first. They are so young, the youngest team
Offside,
in the NFL.
Number 90, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
As Elway once again, as he always does, at least a couple of times a game, draws the defense offsides. But they're so young, and this offensive line that they spent so much money to get, Brian Habib and Gary Zimmerman and Don Maggs, will be healthy again. The return of Keith Karts to his center position. They can move Wydell back over. This is an offensive line that is going to get better and better as the season goes on.
Rod Bernstine Good takedown there by Bill Johnson. Then Clay Matthews got a piece of it. Most of these stations, you'll be able to see a doubleheader game today on NBC. It could be the Dolphins and the Jets as Don Shula tries to set the record against a team that always gives him trouble. Or the hot LA Raiders, right in the thick of things in the West from the outset of the season, but now after losing last week in danger of falling to the 500 mark as they go to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. Certainly the Bears have been inconsistent this season, so.
What a great defensive line, though, the Raiders have, led by Anthony Smith.
Bernstine made a nice cut up, and then he just knocked his own man out of the way. John Melander was trying to make a block, and Bernstine hit him from behind like a bowling ball, sent Melander flying.
Tom, you always try to anticipate what might happen in a football game when you come in, but I really didn't think that Rod Bernstine and the Denver Broncos, as Rod apparently is a little shaken up on that, not used to running this much, 21 times. He's got over his limit, but I never thought that the Denver Broncos would be able to run the football this way on this Browns defense.
That yardage total by Bernstine is the most by any back against the Cleveland Browns this season. Del Pino stopped short of the first down.
Wade Phillips was so happy to have won that game last week with his father on the sideline, and apparently if they are short, Wade Phillips said, yeah, go ahead, go for it. It's your team. I told you, it's your team. You make up your own mind if you want to go for it or not.
Either that or a sign of how easy things have been against Belichick's team today. The Broncos have operated at will. Remember that first drive of the game, they got all the way down threatening the Cleveland goal line before a fumble ended that drive. And since then, they pretty much had their own way. Broncos take a timeout, facing a 4th and 1. We'll be back.
Trucks are a spiritual thing to me. Something you can depend on. It's just like, you know, my best friend, I guess you might say.
Out on the ranch is where I'm at, and that's where I want to.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Cleveland fans making a visual statement here on this game.
You see them, they're going out this way, going to be blocking our path to the airport. We wish this was a little better football game. Keep the crowd in here a while.
38-yard field goal attempt by Jason Elam as the Broncos elect to kick the field goal rather than go for it on 4th and 1. Turned out to be a good decision. Elam boots it through to up the score to 29-7. Wade Phillips. Lake Erie looks awfully cold. This is your life. Very familiar sight over major sporting events. The Goodyear Blimp providing us with our aerial views today. Luckily for them, they only had to come to Akron from Akron for this game.
A little traffic jam out there, Tom. We're getting nervous.
A lot of empty seats in Cleveland Stadium. Began the day with high expectations, a little revenge motive against those 3 AFC championship games that the Broncos won, and the Browns didn't go to the Super Bowl, and it's ended up being a rather dismal afternoon. Randy Baldwin bouncing off tacklers. Close to the 40-yard line. 18-yard return gives us a chance to check in once more with Jim Lampley.
For a moment of drama from Foxborough, Tom. Desperate straits for the Bills at their own 34. Clock running down, less than 40 seconds. Kelly finds the Pat killer, Russell Copeland. He returned the punt against New England earlier in the season. This time his 56-yarder sets up the game-tying field goal. They're headed to overtime. Tom Hammond.
Overtime game. Well, they've had great games over the season, even when the New England Patriots were bad. As you pointed out, they always seem to play the Bills tough.
And the Patriots just keep losing those close games this year.
Leroy Hoard gets a couple. This will be the most points scored against the Cleveland defense since November 10th, 1991, when the Eagles scored 32.
Kind of looks like an Indians game on opening day, doesn't it? Sorry about that. It's cold. I shouldn't have said that. Not when they get to the new stadium, though. They'll be packed.
You may be in a hurry to get out of Cleveland more than you know. If anybody's listening. Metcalf can't hang on.
He is human. It was interesting, though, that, you know, he was so cool after that second punt return last week. We showed him on the, or 2 weeks ago against Pittsburgh, showed him on the sideline, and he just kind of sitting there by himself, relaxing, taking it easy. And I said, well, what about your dad? Was he excited? He said, no, he was even cooler than I was. His only comment was I tired after that track meet on Sunday?
Kosar sacked for the 6th time, I believe. 6 sacks for the Denver defense. This one by the rookie, Jeff Robinson from Idaho.
That feels good. First sack in the National Football League. Jeff Robinson just working against Houston Hoover right around the corner. Little Mark Gastineau time now.
10-10 in overtime, Buffalo and New England. You're surprised that Dallas is having such an easy time with the Giants today?
Not really.
Okay. Steelers up 5 in the 4th quarter.
Our producer, Victor Frank, pretty excited about that score.
Hanson's punt, line drive variety, fumbled, and recovered by Milburn, 36 yards. We remind you, coming up Saturday, the college football game of the year. It'll be at Notre Dame Stadium, the house that Rockne built, as the Fighting Irish take on the top-ranked Seminoles of Florida State. Charlie Ward and company taking on the Fighting Irish. Interesting to see what the weather will be. It starts at 1:30 Eastern Time.
Did you hear Bobby Bowden's quotes after the game? They said, is Charlie Ward going to start at quarterback? He said, if he gets run over by a train on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'll still start him on Saturday.
Tommy Maddox in at quarterback, his first action of the '93 season. Flags down. Del Pino got the handoff and was immediately met by Anthony Pleasant. There's Tommy Maddox, 2nd year out of...
Full start, number 88, offense. Prior to the snap, no play. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So Elway again does it to the Browns. 17 of 23, 244 yards, 3 touchdown passes.
Wade Wilson was saying, too, he said, everybody's trying to figure out an answer why that we can beat Cleveland, why we've done it on such a regular basis. He said, hey, nobody's ever come up with a theory. Maybe we're just a better team.
Based on today's results, looks like a pretty accurate assessment. At least today they were the better team. We come to the 2-minute warning. We'll take a break with Denver holding on to a 29-7 advantage. John Elway strikes again at Cleveland Stadium as the Broncos on their way to win number 5 of the season. And the Cleveland Browns lead in the AFC Central in doubt as Pittsburgh continues to lead Cincinnati. Cleveland had taken possession at first by beating the Steelers 2 weeks ago, and a big smile on John Elway's face.
I told him that I was going to do the pregame show thing down there from the dog pound. I asked if he had any messages he wanted me to pass along. I won't be telling you what the boy said. He's not a big fan of the dog pound.
Guess he had the last laugh today, though, as Bernie Kosar had a tough afternoon. Remind you that coming up tonight, you'll see an all-new eyewitness video, followed by a new Sequest adventure, and then a world premiere motion picture event based on a true story, A Matter of Justice. All coming up tonight on NBC.
Hattie Duke back in that movie. Saw the previews for it last night.
You know it's bad when the dog pound clears out early.
How can they get uglier, but they are with those masks.
Time to take a look now for the Hager wrinkle-free cotton super play of the game.
Derek Russell just splitting the seam here as Elway looked left, came back right, and broke this game open to a big play receiver, Derek Russell.
That's our Hager wrinkle-free cotton super play of the game, and it came from John Elway to Derek Russell. Elway's afternoon, including 3 touchdown passes.
You know, the interesting thing about Derek Russell is he hated the Broncos as a kid growing up. Said the Cowboys were his favorite team, and he was mad when he got called and was drafted by the Denver Broncos. Said Dan Reeves called him, and the first thing he said was, first of all, what took you so long? Why'd you wait till the 4th round?
Only 1 catch, but for a touchdown. And for Elway, now 12 touchdowns and 5 interceptions on the season. Here's a run by Rivers. Elway, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Significant when you consider that last year he had 10 touchdowns and 17 interceptions.
He is red hot and beginning to make a push for MVP honors as if this team continues to go. And you also just have to begin to wonder now about the strength of the AFC's Western Division. All those teams very competitive, and whoever comes out of that division may not have a great record, but may be the best team in the AFC. They just keep beating each other up.
Denver set to meet the Minnesota Vikings at Mile High next week. Then they'll take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, again from the AFC Central. They'll have a return match against the Seahawks, this time in Seattle.
That game against Pittsburgh is going to be very interesting indeed. I think before it's all said and done, provided Pittsburgh can win today in Cincinnati, that they are going to be one of the 2 or 3 teams to beat in the AFC.
Thanks to John Betschel, Jeff Fenner, and David Clancy if they're helping the booth today. Bill Belichick. The Cleveland teams have been 1-3, about to be 1-4, coming off their bye week. They just have not been sharp after the week off in their 5 games in that situation. For the Browns, they'll be at Seattle playing the Seahawks at the Kingdome next week. Then AFC Central rival Houston here, at Atlanta, New Orleans at home, and at Houston.
Houston is the wild card in that AFC Central division. You just don't know. They have, I think, unquestionably the best talent in this division, and if they can mentally put it together and leave all the internal friction behind them, it'd be tough to handle by the end of the season as well.
Minute 12 left in this game. Here's the punt. Bruins punt, fielded by Metcalf at the 30. Made a nice little jump to get away from one man, and then is corralled and downed after only a 2-yard return.
And what a job today by the special teams of the Denver Broncos. They have just played outstanding football, coached by Richard Smith.
The invitation was accepted to meet Mr. Metcalf at Cleveland Stadium.
And you just wonder how much that bye week took away the momentum of that huge win against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Took away the momentum of the Steelers or the momentum of the Browns after beating the Steelers?